Welcome to Debate the Facts, you motherfuckers, you.
Yes, sir.
My name is Dr. Taylor, and joining me is the Ray to the Bay. The intro is crazy.
Hold on, we are having some serious technical difficulties. I can't see nobody in here. We got comments up already. The intro is crazy. The intro is what we're doing.
Yeah, that intro is fire as fuck.
It's fire for your mama's ass.
So welcome everybody to Debate the Facts. I am Toxic Taylor, and joining me is Ray to the Bay. And tonight we have something very special for everyone. I hope you all can hear me okay. How's my audio, Mr. Bay?
It sounds beautiful. It sounds wonderful.
All right.
Gorgeous.
So, our favoriteest person in the world has took the initiative to explain to the world how and when Muslims are allowed to lie. Right? He's been studying Islam for the last year and is a very credible source on liars.
What?
You heard me.
Muslims are allowed to lie?
Well, yeah.
Lying was a sin.
That's what Taqiyya, right?
Taquitos.
But unfortunately, we don't understand lying, right? So we need an expert like Khalil Allah to tell us exactly.
I got a box of those in the fridge.
Where lying is socially acceptable. I believe I shared the audio this time, but let's dive right in. Mr. Khalil Allah versus the truth.
Muslims are liars and they can be deceptive, and the Quran, has a standard for us to be deceptive and in all these kind of things. So, Brother Hanif today has put together a whole presentation that we're going to go through.
Ooh, he brought friends.
To try and clear this issue up. Now, I will say from my personal experience that before becoming a Muslim, and even after becoming a Muslim, I have heard these things of like, oh, well, they're just being nice to you right now. It's a religion of peace, they're saying, until they get their hooks in you, and then when they draw you in, you're just going to be complete, Sharia law. Let's kill the infidels. That type of perception that some people have on Islam. It's not what I've experienced at all, and yeah, I am very new into the faith, but I don't see that from my Muslim brothers that I've been discussing this with. But do you guys have anything that you'd like to add in before we get started?
No.
Yeah, I mean, something similar to what you said, right? The reason we are like having this discussion today, we chose this topic, is because it's like we have quite often observed that whenever we have we start a kind of a conversation with a non-Muslim, there is like this preconceived notion at the back of their mind, right? And anti-Muslim propagandists have been very successful, right, to kind of inculcate this notion into the minds of people. So they come with this preconceived notion. So we just want to clarify certain things based on our faith and why and how, you know, they are so misinformed about this topic, specifically things regarding to Taqiyya, jihad, and stuff like that. So that's precisely the reason that we chose this topic, because like this is something we often encounter while having these online discussions and debates. Yeah, so that's precisely the reason that we are having this sort of a discussion today, inshallah. I hope, you know, at the end of this talk, I hope many of the misconceptions related to Islam and related to Taqiyya concept will be clarified, inshallah. And we will, inshallah, take the callers as well. Yeah, and allow them to like have a kind of a discussion about it. So yeah, inshallah, I'm looking forward for it.
Yep. Anything, Hanif?
I want to bring it up because it's part of honest discussion, debate, and dialogue with non-Muslims. We need to clear to them that we are not allowed to lie. Just like we don't think that they're supposed to lie, we don't lie. And the idea that spread around, the myth amongst many in the Christian community, our Christian brothers, seems to have suffered from this delusion that Muslims are told by their religion to lie about their faith. And we also get it a lot from what you can term the alt-right, conservatives, especially in America, that Muslims are taking over the country, don't believe what they're saying because they have an agenda, and you can't trust them. So the decision to have today, Taqiyya, to be today's topic, was to address this myth and get it thrown away. Yes, so we can move on to substantive arguments, discussions. Because if I'm speaking to a non-Muslim, and then if they've got in the back of their mind that this Muslim is just lying to me to ingratiate himself into my good favors, how can you have a good discussion?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. That was in my mind too. Like, you know, it doesn't matter how like intellectual discussion you have, how generously you act with them, right? How charitable you are. But if they're gonna have this.
See, and that's a good point he has there. How could one have a good discussion if someone's lying or accusing someone else of lying the whole time?
Right.
Does that sound familiar? Like, do we know anybody that accuses everybody of lying and ends up being the only liar in the room?
I know one guy that does that a whole lot.
I know one guy like that too. I might happen to be looking at the fucking idiot right now. Matter of fact, he might even be sitting in front of us.
Might even be sitting in front of us. I believe, this person might be in conversation.
I had a talk with him today and yesterday and every fucking day. He's a lonely little bitch.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like something he would say. Sounds like it's something he would say.
But yeah, just accusing, right? Muslims don't lie. Hanif was very clear about that. We do not lie about our faith. Right? And it's impossible to have an intellectual conversation, according to Yunus, like he's saying right here, with someone accusing you of being a liar constantly. Oh, such fucking wisdom coming out of these guys, right? Now, let's go on to see when it's okay to lie when you're Muslim. Because that's what the video is about. They don't lie about their faith, but they're going to tell us when it's
right?
okay.
It just doesn't matter to them, right? And whatever we say is just going to be a lie, to them. So this is something we just want to remove, so that the progress can happen and we can create an environment where all the faiths together, we can have discussion, debates, and live together in harmony and peace, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah.
Atem, anything you want to add?
Well, I mean, I was just gonna say that I don't believe a thing you guys are saying. that's the kind of mentality though. You know, like if you have like it doesn't matter what you do, what you say, you can't change anybody whose mind is set. So it's almost like you're stuck in this vicious circle where like you just can't get out. You know, like they've so like the like with like the ones that promote this narrative, what they've done is like they put the Muslims in a hole, and it's impossible to get them out because there's this premise in the back of their mind, like Yunus was saying, and Hanif was alluding to. So that's the problem. How do you get out of it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only way that I think of is just like direct experience with Muslims. So, but I mean, even that's not good enough because it's just be like, hey, I don't really trust these guys anyway. So it's honestly, I think it is also incumbent on Muslims as well around the world to, you know, like to be good to their neighbor, like we're taught to be, and to be honest and generous and just be the best human beings we can be. And I think like direct experience like this, it trumps that narrative. And I've seen it time and time again.
Yeah, and it is also important to combat this narrative, right? So that we could provide an actual picture of what religion teaches, right? And sort of re-educate.
What the fuck is going on? Yeah, let's take a look. Hey, what the hell? Why is my video fucking up? I don't know what's going on. Touchscreen.
Arguments, discussions, because if I'm speaking to a non-Muslim,
I'm winding it too far. Oh boy. Yeah, how do you fucking zoom in?
we don't lie. And the idea that spread around, the myth
All right, we're gonna have to start it over.
amongst many in the Christian community, our Christian brothers, seems to have suffered from this delusion that Muslims are told by their religion to lie about their faith. And we also get it a lot from what you can term the alt-right conservatives, especially in America, that Muslims are taking over the country. Don't believe what they're saying because they have an agenda, and you can't trust them. So today's the decision to have today, Taqiyya, to be today's topic, was to address this myth and get it.
Hold on. Did he attribute this generated by both the godless left and conservatives?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everybody's calling him a liar in America.
Exactly.
The apolitical people. I appreciate the compliment, Hanif. Thank you. I still think they're
thrown away. Yeah, so we can move on to substantive arguments, discussions. Because if I'm speaking to a non-Muslim, and then if they got in the back of their mind that this Muslim is just lying to me to ingratiate himself into my good favors, how can
look at these motherfuckers? Look at these fuckers
Exactly.
trying to keep a straight face.
Yeah, exactly. That was in my mind too. Like, you know, it doesn't matter how like intellectual discussion you have, how generously you act with them, right? How charitable you are. But if they're gonna have this notion at the back of their mind, right? It just doesn't matter to them, right? And whatever we say is just gonna be a lie. Yeah.
What up?
They're fucking laughing while he's talking about we don't lie.
Right.
You see them in the bottom corner? They don't lie. Muslims never lie. The most honest people in the world are going to tell us when it's okay for them to lie.
Right education. So yeah, that's the reason, inshallah, we are having this discussion, and I'm pretty much sure that at the end of this talk, everything inshallah ta'ala will be clarified, because like we go good presentation, mashallah, by Muhammad Hanif today, and that will help you guys to understand the actual sort of picture, inshallah.
Well, let's get straight to it. Hanif, I think you said that we just kind of like switch off, kind of like reading them, and then after each slide, we'll just do a short discussion on basically what that slide was about.
We'll play by ear. We'll read, we'll summarize the PowerPoint, and you guys can chime in with what your comments. Yeah, if you wish.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to bring this up on the full screen so everybody can see it.
About Taqiyya.
Okay, I only had this morning, unfortunately, to prep the PowerPoint, so nothing fancy. So it's the lie about Taqiyya, just to play on words. Here is an image I found from Google. The chap in the behind, in front of Big Ben, is Sadiq Khan. He's a Muslim, Labour politician. He became the first elected mayor of London, and because of that very prestigious and position in British politics, it meant that memes started being spread that, look, whatever he says, don't trust him. He's a Muslim. He's going to act on Taqiyya. You've got Obama. Don't trust whatever Obama says, because apparently his middle name is Hussein, so he's a Muslim. So whatever, even when he's making the Pledge of Allegiance, is Taqiyya. And there you have Taqiyya for dummies. It's just a meme we have. We've got some more.
These are the kind of things that I was talking about. The memes that you see online, or as our good friend James is tired, he likes to call them memes. But these memes are kind of like, I said to the infidel, you've got the wrong Quran. True Islam is against violence. And actually, I have heard this before when it comes to the meme on the far right. If they're in small groups, they say that it's a religion of peace. When the group gets larger, they say they deserve a special status and eventually work their way to Islam or else, and invoking Sharia law wherever they go and all kinds. And that was the perception that was given to me. Even after I first converted, I was told, hey, you're brainwashed. You're these guys are just hook, line, and sinker, just reeling in to become some type of jihadist, insurgent terrorist guy. And I'm like, come on, like I don't think they use philosophical cosmological argumentation to make me an infidel or to make me an insurgent or a terrorist. Or anything like that. I don't think that's exactly the route you take.
What the fuck is he talking about? He said he doesn't think they're using philosophical cosmological arguments to make me a terrorist. Dude. You heard what he said? Let's see this. What is this guy doing? Your mic is muted. Nobody can hear you. You're not plugged in. I was wondering why you were being awful quiet down there in your little corner, Ray-Bay. Even though his mouth is disproportionate to his face, I can't hear a goddamn thing he's saying. Where the fuck is your audio? Hold on, let's see this. Yeah, take care of your audio, sir. I see that mouth moving and nothing's coming out. But yeah, no, they're not using cosmological arguments to convince you. Yeah. This is a couple of good examples of those
those.
And the thing about these memes is that, like, you know, it reaches to the wider audience because, like, you know, it's funny and it's, like, you know, easily put, without having an actual story, what's behind the meme, right? Or what's the context behind the meme. So, like, it reaches to the wider audience, and, you know, they kind of take it as factual because it's funny at the same time. So the kind of purpose that these memes serve is that, like, it reaches to the people, and yeah, so that, and they sort of, you know, get their thing done with these kind of things.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, I'm back, guys. Sorry. The problem with these things is it's a Saturday here afternoon, and we get guests in Saturday afternoons, and I have to answer the doors, unfortunately.
Can you hear me?
Oh no, you're good. You're
Yeah.
good.
Testing, testing,
So,
testing, testing.
let's
Yeah, I
at
can
least
hear you.
have an explanation.
Oh, there we
of
go.
what it
Okay.
actually is. And let's be academic about it. And it's a practice that Muslims especially do.
Here, what is
Muslim
Taqiyya?
scholars is
Let's look at what Taqiyya is according.
Oh yeah. So what I was asking was, is this one of them like Muslim apologists, or is that what they're doing? Is they're apologizing for Islam?
Yes, and this what is Taqiyya? Linguistic meaning of Taqiyya: the act of protecting oneself from danger, comes from waqaya, meaning to protect. In this context, Taqiyya means to agree with someone in words or in action on something which is not true because of fear of them or from that person. Legal meaning of Taqiyya: to protect oneself by displaying an action or speech contrary to one's belief,
Really?
which is still a lie. But apparently it's a justified lie. So it's justified when you're in danger to agree with someone in words or in action on something which is not true because of fear or harm from that person.
Let's see here.
So you're allowed to lie when you're in danger because your God can't protect you. And your God, right? You're obviously your belief that you're going to heaven isn't sufficient enough. You need a little bit of a meaningful assurance. So your God will let you lie. It's okay. Don't waste your one life I gave you. Wait a little longer to come to Jannah. Right? Tell a little lie here and there. Just preserve your life. Even though, right, your life is just something I created. In fact, I could have never put you in the situation where you had to lie anyway. But all right, lying is justified when you're in danger. So that's the truth. This is what they're saying the real meaning of Taqiyya
is to break down the meaning of a word first before discussing it. So the linguistic meaning of taqiyya, it comes from an Arabic verb, waqaya. So it's a waqaya, which means to protect. So taqiyya is the act of protecting oneself from danger. And in the context, it means to agree with someone who is threatening to harm you, or actually harming you in words or in actions on something which is not true because of fear of harm from that person. In the Sharia, the legal meaning of taqiyya can be summarized as to protect oneself by displaying an action or speech which is contrary to one's belief. So you're threatened, you're held at gunpoint or something, and you're told, "Are you a Muslim?" And you have a great certainty that if you say you're a Muslim, you'll be harmed. You're allowed either to not say you're a Muslim or to outright say deny that you're a Muslim. So to protect yourself or someone who else might be in harm.
Yeah, just like you know, for example, if myself here, I'm a Muslim, yeah, and there are some hostile forces that are trying to attack everybody that is a Muslim, right? So in that context, yeah, if they come to me and I sort of conceal my belief to them and tell them a lie just to get along with them, right? It is under that context that Taqiyya is allowed. It's not in the general circumstance. It's just to protect one's life. Yeah. So example is like, say there was a lady in Germany who were trying to hide the Jews from the Nazis, right? And the lady said a lie to the Nazi forces just to protect the life of those Jews, right? Now, no one in right moral conscience would say that was an immoral act, right? That was, in fact, an act of mercy, because like you are saying that just to protect other people's life, right? That's like, in that context, Taqiyya is applied. So yeah, I just wanted to make that comment.
Yeah, this kind of goes along with the situation to where the Nazis come knocking at your door and you're hiding Jews inside of your house. Do you say, hey, yeah, they're downstairs, underneath the floorboards, or do you say, no, there ain't no Jews up in here? Like, go ahead and check if you want to, but you ain't gonna find nothing. Like, would you lie to protect yourself or somebody else? I mean, even as an atheist, I would have been like, yeah. Like, there's that example. There's the example of a girl.
Wait. What did he say?
Bleeding from all over the place, running down the street, and
he's making a reference. He's making a reference to Inglourious Bastards, the beginning.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, but why are they comparing? When a Muslim lies, Taqiyya and shit, to the Holocaust?
Well,
to the Jewish Holocaust.
They're trying to use it like if they're afraid for their lives and shit, their God lets them lie about their religion. Okay, and
they've never been through anything like that, though. Well, maybe the Crusades, but come on now.
They're saying that if like, for example, somebody, it's morally just to lie.
Right.
Like if you're hiding Jews in your house and the Nazis come knock on the door, and you lie to the Nazis, like, I don't got no Jews in here.
That's crazy.
That's what they're comparing it to.
Okay.
So they're saying that's their reason for justified lying about their religion. That they're supposed to be righteous if they die for it.
I mean, I wish they would have instead of using the Jews, what they should have used was Muppets. Just imagine Sesame Street just coming along to the Muppet Show and shit. They're kicking down the fucking doors and whatnot. Kermit the Frog is fucking being held at gunpoint. Big Bird's asking him, "Hey, where the fucking Muppets at? Where the Muppets at, bitch?" And Kermit the Frog is just like, I don't know where the Muppets are, and I'm not a Muppet. I'm not a Muppet. They should have just used that. I would have used that as an example. It's not easy being green. Shit. It's terrible. Terrible comparison. They will never, ever, ever have to go through oppression. I don't think any of these guys live in the Middle East. Can you hear me, Taylor?
No.
Where do they live? In the United States?
The United States, UK, and I believe Eunice is from Kashmir.
All right, so my thing is, they moved out of the Middle East. Why did they move out of the Middle East? Because the Islamic regimes in those countries where they're from are oppressive. They should not be having this conversation at all, period. This is a terrible conversation for them to be having. But I mean, I digress.
I don't know if any of them are from the Middle East at all. But I do.
Hey man, they look heavily Middle Eastern.
They're saying they're justified to lie to protect themselves, and then pretty soon they're going to tell you that they're justified to lie in war, because the prophet did say that war is deceit.
This is a propaganda argument to make them appear to be fucking oppressed. All right, this is like with the Black Lives Matter movement and shit. This is exactly what this is.
And the conservatives.
Right, they're being right, exactly. The atheist left,
apolitical people,
and
like
the fucking
myself,
conservative right, it's fucking them right in the ass and in the mouth at the same fucking time in the Western civilization, and they're just trying to find their footing and their fucking foothold. Well, you guys can find your fucking foothold in Western civilization. Nobody's fucking you. Nobody's fucking you. We're talking about your fucking the crazies that are in the countries where Islam is the fucking government. Not just the religion, but it is the culture, the government, the de facto way of life for people and shit. Where they're fucking checking homosexuals off of fucking rooftops, killing women for cheating on their husbands or what have you, or women just fucking having sex before they even fucking married and shit. This stuff goes on in those fucking countries. People are living in fucking fear.
All this and more.
And this is what that's what this conversation is.
Well, that's what makes this shit
To deflect. But okay. I like to sit here and continue watching these mofos compare their struggle here in the Western civilization to the fucking Holocaust. And
I still don't understand this shit. They're trying to make this fucking mental gymnastic argument. We're lying, but it's for the sake of a good cause, and they still yet to explain why we should believe any of this shit. There's a God, right, that tells you, yes, you're righteous. There's a heaven. There's a hereafter. You'll go to Jannah for believing in me. You'll be martyred. You'll be favored. You'll get a blessing for being martyred in my name, in the name of Islam, right? But then you got these guys saying, well, if somebody actually comes to martyr you, God gives you very special permission to lie to preserve your life. It's literally incoherent. Doesn't make any fucking sense at all. These fuckers do not. How can you believe in heaven and be ashamed of your religion and want to preserve your life? Care so much about your life. Right? Thinking, well, I need to wait. I need to do some things before I go to Jannah. I better lie now because God will forgive me. He said it was okay. He's the all forgiving. I think that's what the passage says. I'm not really sure what the. There's two Taqiyya passages in the Quran, and this one it's saying that you know. Anyone who changes, it's about the person who denies Islam, except for those who did so under guise. For Allah is the most forgiving. So He forgives you for lying in that case. Even though He forgives you for fucking you've been a liar in your life and shit. He'll forgive you no matter what. He's the all forgiving. Right? He's the always merciful, always forgiving man. His mercy is so grand.
Taylor, these guys are oppressed. We're raping them.
Let's see what else we can lie about. Because we went from you can't lie. Muslims do not lie. And to now, well, this is the way Muslims lie. This is when Muslims lie. Like the title of the video says, they lie when they're right. They have Jews in their house. They're hiding from Nazis, and they lie about their religion. If somebody's like an anti-Islam wants to kill all the Muslims.
It's crazy because they'll never go through this. They're the third largest religion in the world. They'll never ever have to worry about this shit. But okay. But God said, thou shalt not lie.
And then you see some guy with a knife, sweating and running down the street. And they ask you, hey, what did you see a girl? What direction did she go? And you're just like, she went in that direction.
Yeah.
And then even though she went in that direction, so you lied to him to send him in the wrong direction to possibly save somebody's life.
Yeah, exactly.
Tim, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I think the issue is so
anyone would do that. Anyone would do
the
that.
Foundation of the issue, and the reason why it's made to be like a big deal in the West is because like they have this idea that Muslims are just out to basically take over, that our whole purpose in being in the West is to take over and not live normal lives like everybody else. Like, no, Muslims aren't like at home, chilling, watching TV, like everybody else playing video games. No. Like what Muslims do, like they literally go home after work and they plan a takeover. Right, like there's this mentality, and this is part of like the dehumanization process. I mean, like they don't understand that we're humans too, like we don't, like nobody got time for that kind of stuff.
As somebody who was kids, as someone who was born in the motherfucking West, I can say it's a very small, minute percentage of people who actually think like that. This is what this is. This is like this is a fucking Care Bear Muslim video, Taylor. That's what they are. Care Bear Islamists.
Care Bear Muslims?
Care Bear Muslims.
Muzzy Wuzzy Bears.
Yeah, all right.
That's what they're trying to put on a good face and shit.
You
You
guys
guys,
wanna get
don't
back
need
to
to fucking do all
presentation?
that.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
Sheesh.
Okay.
It's like a black guy going out of his way and shit to try to
first of all,
impress
let's-
white people and whatnot.
Al Haq.
You know, they say I do that.
Haq
I get accused of doing shit like that. I'm like, hell no.
is one of the names of God in the Quran. Al Haq. This is the day when the truthful will benefit from their truthfulness. For them are gardens in paradise, beneath which rivers flow, wherein they will abide forever. Allah being pleased with them, and they with him. That is the great attainment. Be careful of your duty to Allah, and be with the truthful, that Allah may reward the truthful for their truth, and punish the hypocrites if he wills, or accept their repentance. And that's my point exactly. If you have gardens in paradise beneath which rivers flow, wherein they will abide forever, all right, Allah being pleased with you, and they with him, that is the great attainment. Why wouldn't you just say, fuck it, fuckers, kill me, I'm a Muslim, I'm going to fucking Jannah to get my gardens and my paradise and my virgins? How is this coherent to Taqiyya? You got one passage that's telling you it's okay to lie in one instance, but there's another passage that's telling you it's okay, don't lie, because God loves it when you don't do that. Allah will reward the truthful for their truth and punish the hypocrites, not the liars, the hypocrites, if he wills, or accept their repentance.
At least make the obvious clear that being truthful in Islam is not only mandatory, but it's a virtue. It's the default position. So in the Quran, even the name of even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God himself, has the name Al-Haqqa, the absolute truth. And those are the verses in the Quran that refer to God with that name. So he is the
What the fuck just
absolute
happened?
truth, the absolute reality. And there's further verses there. Shall I read them out?
Sure.
Yeah.
like it.
inshallah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is a day when the truthful will benefit from their truthfulness. So this is God talking about the day of judgment. The truthful will benefit from their truthfulness in this life. For them are gardens in paradise between which rivers flow, wherein they will abide forever. Allah being pleased with them, and they with him. That is the great attainment. So God is pleased with believers precisely because they are truthful. Another verse, be careful of your duty to God, to Allah, and be with the truthful. So here, God is describing those in his path as the truthful. That is the epithet given to Muslims in the first instance here. Muslims as in the direct followers of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but also everyone who is a true follower of God. They have to be truthful. Then the last verse, that Allah may reward the truthful for their truth and punish the hypocrites if he wills, or accept their repentance. So one of the greatest sin, I think, in Islam really is the act of what is termed nifaq, or hypocrisy, which is to pretend to worship God, but in one's heart to reject that belief, and we term that as hypocrisy. I think that there's a verse in the Quran which I didn't highlight, where the hypocrites, those who pretend to have faith in God, they will be in the lowest depths of hell. That's how serious lying and falsehood is in Islam. From the Quran's point of view.
There is one more verse which I want to quote. Right, it's important because it's related to the lie. It says, who then does more wrong than those who lie about Allah, right? Who then does more wrong than those who lie about Allah and reject the truth after it has reached them? Is hell not a fitting home for the disbelievers? So it says that, there is like no greater sin than the one who lies about God, right? So
Like the
like
people
as
pretending not to
Hanif
believe
was
in him?
saying, that lying is one of the major sins, right, in Islam. So it cannot be used as a tool to demonize Muslims, because it's the central theme of the Islamic religion that you have to be truthful. As Hanif said, one of the names of God is Al-Haq, the truth, right?
So, with that being said, Taqiyya is only for those who, when confronted, do you believe in Allah? Is that the true God? And you say, no, he is not. Okay? That is when God will forgive you. God hates the mostest the people who lie about the God, who says he is not the true God. And those statements fit perfectly in what he is trying to say to us right now. What do you think about that?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Well, I think that is a whole bunch of hypocrisy and bullshit. So I believe this Taqiyya was made during. I would assume this Taqiyya law or prospect was made during the Crusades and shit. And so if they came across any Crusaders or what have you, they would be they would be allowed to lie to protect themselves. I feel like this came from the Crusades. I believe this word. Let me see something. I'm reading up on it. Let's see here. It's
probably came about. They're probably fucking spying, man. There's probably spies and shit to go on. Fucking say, no, I'm not a Muslim. And they really
yeah,
are.
here it is. Taqiyya is a precautionary dissimulation or denial of religious belief and practice in the face of persecution. And they got some little notes here. And if I'm right, oh, you son of a bitch! I just wanted to look at these little notations. And this is an Islamic word, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It's Arabic. My fault. Not Islamic. Arabic.
That means to protect.
This practice is emphasized in Shia Islam, whereby adherents are permitted to conceal their religion when under threat of persecution or compulsion. The practice is much less prominent in Sunni Islam, but may be permitted under certain circumstances, such as threats to life. There are two main aspects of taqiyya: avoiding disclosure of association with the imams when doing so may expose the community to danger or harm, and keeping esoteric teachings of the imams concealed from those who are not prepared to receive them. Taqiyya was initially practiced under duress by some of Muhammad's companions. Who the fuck are Muhammad's companions?
The people that hung out with them.
So like even during Muhammad's day, they were using this shit. So this is in the Quran. Taqiyya is in the Quran.
Yeah, well, it's likely what happened is this. It's not only persecuted because the people weren't actually believers; they weren't gung ho.
Yeah,
They just thought it was cool. But when shit went down, they didn't believe in John or Allah anymore. They said, "No, I'm not a Muslim, never." They deny Christ like Peter does, and then what really likely happened is that these fuckers were doing this shit to spy on the other side. They were going in, right? And you get caught as a spy. You go, nope, I'm not a Muslim. You swear you're not a Muslim? I swear I'm not a Muslim. Knowing that that's justified to just be fucking deceitful as all hell. Because they're, right? The Hadith say that the Prophet said war is deceit. You don't have to honor truces. If it's with polytheists, the Quran says all kinds of things like that. That's another deception. You can make a truce and you have to honor it if it's a fucking polytheist.
right,
Any
right.
truce you can just break by word of God. You break them.
Yeah, right.
That's not dishonest at all.
Yeah,
So yeah,
right.
let's go back to
Apologizing for dishonesty.
It's
So, like,
apology.
our theology erupts from that, from the truth. So, like, it's absolutely absurd to say that, you know, Muslims, Islam allows Muslims to lie about things, and like it's in general circumstances or in general.
What are you talking about, bro? You guys just
Yeah, I
showed
just wanted to
something
say
that it totally
The
does.
that you quoted, I put it in the comment section. It's Quran, chapter 4, verse 145.
Cool. All right.
Okay, now we move on to some hadith. The next two slides, I think, will be about hadith from the Prophet, peace be upon him. Okay, for those who are not aware, hadith are records of what the Prophet did, said, or accepted whilst those actions were happening in his presence. So they're a second source of law for Muslims. So I have three hadith here. The first one, Abdullah, one of the companions of the Prophet, reported Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, as saying, "It is obligatory for you to tell the truth. For truth leads to virtue, and virtue leads to paradise. And the man who continues to speak the truth and endeavors to tell the truth is eventually recorded as truthful with Allah. And beware of telling a lie, for telling a lie leads to obscenity, and obscenity leads to hellfire. And the person who keeps telling lies and endeavors to tell a lie is recorded as a liar with Allah." So this is from a collection of hadith called Muslim. It's hadith number 4721. Just want to make a point here. It's characteristic of the speech of Allah's Messenger, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that whenever he relates a matter, he relates it not in the manner of a philosopher dealing in abstract ideas and abstract principles. What he does is try to relate these fundamental truths to people's ultimate ends in life, ends and practical daily affairs. So for the Prophet, who came here to warn people of damnation in hell and tell them about worshiping God, for him, he wanted to link the idea, the reality of telling the truth, to the reality of the afterlife and when people will end up in the afterlife. So liars end up in hell. That's where the destination of liars is. And the truth will end up with God. So I just want to make that point clear. Sometimes people say, okay, why don't Muslims tell the truth for the sake of telling the truth? And we would say, there's no such thing as telling the truth for the sake of telling the truth. All values come from God himself. God is the truth. So we relate everything we do to how it relates to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his goodwill. Second hadith, another companion, Hakim ibn Hazam, reported that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Two parties to a deal have the option of changing their minds until they part. If they are open and honest, their deal will be blessed, and if they conceal and tell lies, the blessing of their deal will be diminished." So this is the Prophet explaining about business transactions and saying even within business, you have to be honest. You can't conceal faults, tell lies, misrepresent. Otherwise, there will be no blessings in your financial affairs. Moving on. And then partly, I think, we'll comment on it afterwards. I don't want to monopolize this. Allah's apostle said, "The signs of a hypocrite are three. Whenever he speaks, he tells a lie. Whenever he promises, he breaks his promise. And whenever he is entrusted, he betrays his trust and proves himself to be dishonest."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and these things, if you do want to just summarize, Hanif, if you'd like to, anybody who's watching, you guys can always pause the video, at a later date, and you can pause the video and read through everything that's in the presentation.
Okay, two more hadith. Just wanted to show you to how strict the Prophet was, how much he attached the importance to telling the truth, and wanted Muslims not to have falsity in their lives. So, first hadith, here the Prophet is condemning those people who make up tales to make other people laugh. Okay, that's how serious the Prophet, peace be upon him, took it. Not to casually laugh, casually make up lies and be dishonest just to make people laugh. There's another hadith at the end. I couldn't find a source for it. I remember reading it in a hadith collection, but I couldn't find the source, so I didn't attach it. Otherwise, that would have been a lie. So I've just put it here. It's a famous hadith. The Prophet came to one of his relatives' house, and she wanted to attract her child towards her. So she said to the child, "Come here, dear, to get this." The Prophet, peace be upon him, turned to her and said, "What did you want to give him?" She replied, "A date." And he said, "If you had been pretending to give him something to make him come to you, this would have been considered a lie." So, I mean, that's clear cut. One isn't even supposed, a mother isn't even supposed to cajole their children by lying to them, because obviously that's going to impact upon the child in the home. The child become aware that it's acceptable to, if you want to get your way, easier to lie than tell the truth. So I just want to bring these two hadith up.
Yeah.
All right. When is Taqiyya allowed? So this is kind of answering a lot of what a lot of the questions people may have of when.
Only permissible in times of dire need and a last resort. Only done when a person is amongst non-believers and he fears for his life or wealth. He may even utter words which show love, close friendship, as long as his heart is clean of such beliefs. Not permissible through actions which cause harm to others. Killing, fornication, stealing, false testimonies, circulate the secrets of Muslims, usually at the time of war, etc. Not permissible for gain of wealth, position. Only permissible if one actually fears some danger. If no danger is expected, taqiyya is impermissible.
Let's see. Is Taqiyya in the Quran?
Yeah. They showed it where it wasn't.
Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, I was sitting there, I was wondering. I'm like, why would they write a book that contradicts the religion? If you believe in God in the hardest of your fucking hearts, you're gonna want to die on that fucking sword. You know, this is what folks do when cancel culture hits them. They don't die on their sword. They don't. They go right into the apologias. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I had a lapse of judgment. It was the Seroquel that fucking got me. I'm doing drugs. I'm doing all this shit. And like, it don't make any sense to me.
Usually,
I would never.
at the time of war.
I would never stop being a jaunist because somebody rolled through with their tanks and was like, "You need to denounce your almighty Joan." I'd be like, "Hell no! I'm gonna keep praising the Almighty John. You need to be worshiping God. You need to worship Allah. You need to worship Baphomet, Lucifer, fucking Krishna, or some shit like that. No, 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 no. No. I'm dying on the fucking sword that I fucking created, that I welded, that I put together in my very own hands. I'm not gonna sit there and fucking lie. My God God wrote in the commandments, "Thou shalt not lie." Is there anywhere in the Bible that says that a Christian or a Jew should lie when faced with persecution? Taylor,
What?
is there anywhere in the Bible where it says that a Jew or Christian should lie when faced with
Fuck
persecution?
no. Fuck
Why is
no.
it in the
Die
Quran?
with some dignity. Because they don't have any dignity. We've seen them with what they do on here.
Yeah, zero dignity.
Zero
Lack of
dignity.
respect for
No faith.
themselves.
But you have faith and shit in heaven and Christ, who'll save you, right? You got the fucking apostles like Stephen preaching the gospel and shit while he's being stoned to death,
Mm-hmm.
right? That was like a martyrdom. You're supposed to get that. Now Islam says both. Not only does God love his martyrs, he also gives you permission to avoid martyrdom. He also tells you lying about him is the worst sin. But if someone's got a gun to your head and asks you a bunch of fucked up questions about Allah, you're totally permitted to fucking lie.
Well, their version of God is God must be like a temporary. I feel like
Well,
the Quran was a book in progress.
yeah.
What is the Taqiyya? Where is the Taqiyya placed at in the Quran?
I don't remember. I think it was chapter 4.
Is that like at the end of the book, beginning of the book?
Yeah, it's close to the beginning. Hold on. Yeah, the book. It's a that question is a question in itself. Taqiyya and the Quran. Chapter 328. Let not the believers take the unbelievers for friends rather than believers, and whoever does this, he shall have nothing of the guardianship of Allah. But you should guard yourselves against them, guarding carefully, and Allah makes you cautious of retribution from himself. And to Allah is the eventual coming. Ilah an taku minam tukat. Right, so to fear, the word tataku, you fear, and tukat, in fear, are derived from the same root as taqiyya. The use of the abstract noun taqiyya in reference general principles described in this passage is first recorded in a Quranic gloss by al-Bukhari. All right, so it's absolutely not what they were telling us in the beginning. All right, the other verse is Surah 16:106. The B. It said, all right, the unbelievers shall be. What the fuck? Let's go 16:106. Why isn't it in here? All right, verse 16:106 Quran. And that says, whoever disbelieves in Allah after his belief, except for one who is forced to renounce his religion, while his heart is secure in faith, but those who willingly open their breasts to disbelief, upon them is wrath from Allah, and for them is a great punishment. All right, so this is just a threat against apostates. Watch, put
Right.
it. You put it up on the screen. Quran, verse 16:106. Maybe get like a couple of 105 and 104, so we're not.
Yeah, what is it?
So we can understand. 16:106. Yeah, there was the one that was telling like guard yourself against those who disbelieve and shit, like the one they're describing. But 16:106 says like the Taqiyya verse. That's the one where it tells you like you're fine lying. Like he'll never forgive those who lie, except for those who denied their religion in the face of danger. It's completely arbitrary and nonsensical. Like I can't believe this shit. Like, these fuckers, like with a smug face, have no idea how fucking bad that is. You can't lie about Allah unless somebody puts a gun to your head.
You got it. Here we go.
All right. So what's this? Bring it up.
We could do Sahih International, whichever one. Whoever disbelieves in Allah after his belief, except for those who is forced to renounce his religion, while his heart is secure in faith. But those who willingly open their breasts to disbelief, open them is wrath from Allah, and for them is a grave punishment. All right, so if you start to disbelieve in Islam, it's going to punish you. But if you're so secure in your faith that you're willing to lie to protect your life,
That's amazing. Except for one who is forced.
your heart's secure, so secure in faith. You got so much heart that if somebody puts a gun to your face, you're going to do the exact opposite of what one would think. Your heart, you're going to sink and you're going to fucking cave. You're going to go, I don't believe in God. No, I don't. I want to live. Mommy, don't kill me.
It's terrible.
Jesus Christ, man. When is something funny? This isn't even funny. This is sad. I feel bad for doing this video.
Anyone who, after accepting faith in Allah, utters unbelief except under compulsion, his heart remaining in firm faith, but such as open their breasts to unbelief, on them is wrath from Allah, and theirs will be a dreadful penalty. I like how they got in like different wording, all in the same fucking language and shit. Man.
Yeah, there's so many fucking translations too. It'd be like Bible translations, but all the Qurans are the same. How do they get so many fucking different meanings out of one book that's never changed?
It all says the same shit.
Like with the Bible, they're different translations, but they're bastardizations and fucking different manuscript collections and perversions and all kinds of shit. They're claiming this is one book. They got like 500 different translations. How could anyone know what this shit means? Who the fuck is translating the shit right? How are we ever to know that? There's only one Quran.
That is because they prefer the worldly life over the hereafter, and that Allah does not guide the disbelieving people.
Because I can tell
So,
you, like, you ask me why
and
there's so many
this is-
different Bibles, like the Muslims usually do. I can tell you because there's a bunch of fucking assholes that want to change the Bible. Like,
And this is what Taqiyya was referring to.
yes, referring to an single event.
So Taqiyya is not even for like persecution and all that extra jazz. Persecution was separate. It's like a whole separate thing. They're lying.
Yeah,
I don't care if it's on Google or not.
They're forced to renounce their religion. So yeah, it could be persecution. It could be because mommy says don't do it. Don't be a Muslim. You're like, okay, I'm not a Muslim. Right? Because your mom said, if you're gonna be a Muslim, I'll kick you out the fucking house. You're forced. That's what all those translations say. Right? The fucking EA show translation gave us a new version. And it still don't make any goddamn sense why these fuckers can lie to save their lives. They believe in heaven. They believe it's righteous to die in the sake of Allah, right? Because that's like a good reward when you go to heaven. They believe that firmly in their hearts, and yet they're still going to lie to protect their lives. The fuck? I guess it's okay to not have both in the Quran.
But is the word Taqiyya found in the Quran?
In that first verse they brought up, unlike what he told you, tataku means to fear. So out of fear is where the word's coming from. Like you're doing it out of fear. Well, that's at least what my reference told me. It says right here. Hold on, let me get it back.
It was chapter 3, verse 28. All right. Ila anatataku minumhum takat. All right. Tataku means you fear, and tukat means in fear. So when it translates, let not the believers take the unbelievers for friends, rather the believers, and whoever does this, he shall have nothing of the guardianship of Allah. But you should guard yourselves against them, guarding carefully, and Allah makes you cautious of himself, and to Allah is the eventual coming. So it's Allah on taraku minum tukat. And that's where they're getting the word taqiyya from. The word meaning to fear. Out of fear.
They're getting this information from fucking BuzzFeed, Taylor.
Huh?
Their little opening spiel and whatnot.
Yeah, it's not what it's saying. You can guard yourself and your religion out of fear, meaning fear of being exposed. Fear is whatever the fuck, but you obviously don't fear Allah if you're willing to fucking deny him in the face of an enemy and shit, right? Out of fear of your fucking life. Right? This is complete arbitrary nonsense.
I smelled this. I smelled this
Funny. It's
at the beginning of the video when they showed those pictures, when they started talking about the alt right and what have you, and I said, "This sounds like some BuzzFeed garbage."
And that's what
this
they
sounds
got
like.
from.
Well, what do you see? What do you think?
Oh my god! Keep going.
In early January, an 11-year-old girl in Toronto set off a firestorm when she said a stranger had cut her hijab with scissors while she was on her way to school. School administrators called the police, who sent out an alert on social media. Local media rushed to the school for a hastily arranged press conference in which the girl described the alleged attack in front of a sea of cameras. By afternoon, it was an international news story. Meanwhile, prominent politicians across Canada rushed to condemn the incident as an act of hate. Canada is an open and welcoming country, and incidents like this cannot be tolerated, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau tweeted. You know, I find weird is like this isn't like some widespread thing. This is like an individualized incident. This happened to this young lady. It's not like people are running around in streets with scissors, clipping hijabs and shit. This is a young girl who was in class, and some fucking bully came up on her and whatnot. And I mean,
how much of this did they use?
Oh, they didn't. I don't know if they used this, but I just
saw that Eric Levant tweet. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the tweet. Yep.
Keep going. Is the meme the meme in there?
the meme.
The meme.
I think the meme is in here. And there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, they fucking plagiarized BuzzFeed and made their own video. This is fucking insane.
That's exactly what the fuck this is. This is a whole this is an expose now.
What's going on, Muhammad?
They plagiarized fucking
the whole fucking thing.
Topics in this article. Donald Trump.
No, but this is like the 358, right?
The greatest president of all time, I might add.
They made up the Wataka. Like at 328, I got it right here. 328. Hold on. Well, I almost got it right here. It's backwards. I hate these fucking books.
I knew. Greetings, Mohammed. I just smelled BuzzFeed, and
in the house. Okay.
All it took was a little search. I was just like, "Holy shit!"
Here it is.
They snatched it from BuzzFeed.
Number 328. All right. Ku in tukafu mafi sudorikum tubuduhu yalam yula wa yalam wa fisit samwati wa filard wa lahu ala kulli shayim kadir. Hold on. Am I reading the right verse? Oh no, here it is. I read the wrong verse. So it precedes it. La yatakizil mu minulano kafarina. All right, the unbelievers. Protect yourselves. Aluyan min dunim muminin. Wa mani yalafal la zalika failasa mini lahai Fi shay'in ila an tataku. All right, that's where we find the first word. All right, inila an tataku minum taka. Right, this is the passage they're deriving Taqiyya from. Right, the word tataku and taka. Right, protect those who right fearfully and those in fear is what that's saying.
Otaku streamers.
All right, this is yeah. See, he's look at. I'm getting props from reading Arabic in my tajweed, and I'm getting pretty good at it. All right, the fear of those in fear. So if you fear, right, fear, not to protect, but to fear. You're afraid of something. So technically, you protect your life, but you can protect your integrity. You can protect anything. You're in fear of these who fear. Guard yourselves from the unbelievers who you fear, and guard carefully. That's what the verse says, right? The translation I got in English, got it. Let not the believers take friends of helpers, unbelievers, rather than believers. If thou do it in nothing, there be help from Allah, except by way of precaution, that you guard yourselves from them. But that's where they're deriving the word from, fear. See, look at my beginning recitation, right? That's because I got the tajweed. Tajweed, baby.
That's a beautiful book.
Zaliki bin anamu kola lan tamasa nan naru ila ayamam mamdudat wa garahum fi dihnihim ma kanu yaftarun. All right. Have thou not turned thy vision in those who have been given a portion of the book? They are invited to the book of Allah to settle their dispute, but a party of them turned back and declined the arbitration. How do you like them apples, motherfuckers?
Hey, let me ask you a question. Did you get that book out of Barnes and Nobles?
No, I ordered online.
Hell yeah.
It's attached with
Hell yeah.
Arabic. It's got guttural. It tells me how to pronounce the words.
That's good. That's good. Remember that one guy we had on here that
It's expensive, but it's worth it.
That one atheist we had on here who decided to rip his little Barnes and Noble fucking bought book.
Yeah, his was
Quran.
His is like a $5 straight English, no nothing. Does he? He don't got my shit's got fucking letters signed by the fucking Grand Mufti, right? It's got like straight Arabic Quran in
That
it.
thing.
So when you're done reading that one, you can read it in straight Arabic, no index and shit like that. You got the right here. I got a fucking letter from the Sunni ministry. I got all these other help tools. I got stamps, all these approvals saying this is the legit Quran. I got a thing in Arabic that shows me how to do tajweed and what parts of my mouth to use to pronounce the words. My shit's legit. He had a little paperback fucking paperback garage.
I can't believe like real rap. That thing right there is official as fuck. That I just was like, oh hell no.
He comes try to rip my Quran, I'll whoop his motherfucking ass on principle.
Right. I'm afraid. I'll be like, please don't drop that thing. Don't drop that book. That's all. It's magnificent. I wish I had a book like that.
It's just laced. Look at the pages are laced in gold, man. Gold.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a legit Quran. Okay. If you see a Quran in paperback, looks like a fucking coloring book and shit. Looks like the fucking paperback version of 50 Shades of Grey. That's not the real deal. That's the real deal. Hardback. It's got the fucking ribbon in there for your bookmark and whatnot. It's got all the good shit laced. English and in Arabic. That thing is a beaut. That is a beautiful book. That is a beautiful fucking book. And they say, and they said we were offensive. No, not fucking offensive. Shit, we are constantly seeking knowledge. That's what we do here on Debate the Facts. We constantly seek knowledge. We respect our religion. What we do is we seek out the bullshit and we poke holes all up in it.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Al-Hadum ila-Lakir Rabal Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yamardin. Iyaka Nabudu wa Inika Nasarin. Indidisna sirata mustaqim. Sirata lazina anamata alahim geril magdubi alahim waladilim. What do you think about that?
Damn. Hey, you think Justin can do that?
Yeah, I think I've seen him do it. But he was like,
Oh, for real?
he's not practicing the tajweed. That's why he need to get one a tajweed. And another place you can go is this. I have this thing called Iman Academy, and they teach tajweed in there because tajweed. There's a certain way that these words are supposed to be pronounced, and that's what tajweed, right? That big word right there, tajweed means. There's a correct pronunciation. That's why this book emphasizes pronunciation.
I'm impressed.
They got letters in here, like I tell you, like in the Ramanais, when I'm learning the Arabic and how, like, I can't read it very well quite yet. I understand some of the shit, but it's like reading somebody's handwriting all the time.
What is that? The
No,
Romanite?
Yeah, but you see how the letters, some of the letters are blue and red?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why that picture I showed with the dude's throat is so it shows you whether they're gutturals, whether they're palate, nasal pronunciation and shit like that. So it gives you kind of a cut. Like when you say Quran, you gotta force the R, like Quran. Quran. There's a pause in some things, like with Jannah. You don't say Jannah, you say Jannah.
Taylor, you can look up reciters like. There we go.
Reciters like Kari al-Mashari. He has an angelic voice.
Well, I'll just bet.
But yeah, so they've already misinformed us about the word Taqiyya. They said it comes from the word wataka, right? When it doesn't. We found it in the Quran. It's takaw or tataku, and takur, which means to fear. And that's what they're doing, right? It's saying to guard yourselves against the unbelievers, right? To guard yourself carefully out of fear. That's where they're getting the word Taqiyya. You're stressing out of fear. So, like somebody's going to kill you, you tell them, no, I'm not a Muslim. You can do it, right? Yes, you do believe, like questions about your faith. You say, no. So you don't have any balls. You're in fear. Just like that means, yes, that would indicate that they're spineless, not that they're trying to protect anyone. Taraku midhim tukat. That's 329 or 328. That's the verse we just read. That's where the word Taqiyya is coming from. Taraku and tukat means fearful and fear. To fear those and to fear.
No. Oh, okay. I see. Here, I'm gonna share this that link to that BuzzFeed article. I really feel like that's like
these fuckers, and not only that, right? We're into Taqiyya when it's allowed. We've come to find out that they've plagiarized the whole thing from a BuzzFeed article. And that's what, like that. At least you found something that's kind of funny. I was feeling bad. I was legit feeling bad for doing this. I'm like, this isn't funny at all. This is sad.
It's like the first fucking article that you can come across. Like, homie just basically fucking left click the shit. No, excuse me, right click, fucking saved image as, and he's like, yeah, this is one of the memes, and right here, and he just right clicked and saved everything, all the pictures he saw, and it probably memorized this fucking entire article and shit. And they were like, yeah, we're gonna make it look like Muslims are being oppressed here, because that's what this article reads as if Muslims were being oppressed because this little girl's hijab was cut. I've been bullied all through fucking middle school and shit. Guess what? I didn't have news cameras coming up and shit, fucking screaming about black on black crime and whatnot. No, I sucked it the fuck up, buttercup, and I kept it fucking pushing. That's, for this young lady, I'm sorry that she went through that, and I'm not trying to be mean towards her. Like, her situation is terrible. Yeah, nobody should come up and cut your personal property. But this is not what do you call it? This is not it was not a. It was. We all know Canada is not a nation of hate, so there was no need for the prime minister to get out there, say a message and whatnot. He's placating. He's pandering. You know, because they done invited a whole bunch of Syrians to their fucking country and shit. They done all these refugees and what have you. And I'm pretty sure Joe Biden is going to open up the floodgates and shit for the United States very soon. I feel like it. You know, he's in his little state of dementia and shit. Yeah, we're gonna let all the towelhead motherfuckers. I can say that, right? I'm just kidding. Because you know that's what he does.
The
After he says something dumb out of his mouth.
There in Syria by Mahmoud Abbas and Yasser Arafat.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
And then right at the bottom of this article, this BuzzFeed article, somebody wrote this nice little cute little comment. Here, I'm gonna read it out. What is it? Where's that comment at? Oh yeah. Haha. Yeah, just ignore how awful Western Muslims can be and all their Saudi-funded Wahhabi mosques that preach literal taqiyya because some QAnon smooth brains posted about it on Facebook. This fake Muzzy actually thinks he debunked it in this article. LMAO. Go watch literally any Ahmadinejad speech, you buffoon. You know?
We got a taqiyya on the word fucking taqiyya in the video already. We found it. It's in the fucking Quran, man. Leave it to the... Stick to your fucking Qurans.
Right, stick to the fucking Quran.
Don't only, man. Quran alone. Let's keep it Quran.
Keep it kosher. Keep it real.
It's like, how the fuck you gonna come at us with a God that lost the Torah, you lost the Psalms, lost the Injil, gives us a good book in Arabic, so we can't fuck it up with millions of translations yet. You done it. Then to have you guys go, well, that's not tenable alone. We got to look at all these hadiths and these sayings that the Prophet used. This is how the Prophet did it. This is how the Prophet read the Quran. He understood it like this. That's how they get hundreds of Qurans through the hadiths.
Yep. Oh, yeah, breaking. Toronto police now say an attack on an 11-year-old girl wearing a hijab was false that's what the tweet said. After a detailed investigation, police have determined that the events described in the original news release did not happen, police say.
So out of fear of death. Even though the Quran don't say that, just the fear of the unbelievers. You get fired, it's okay to get fired over it. It's okay to have other things, but death is the no-go. Okay, so if you're afraid of dying and going to Jannah prematurely, you can lie about your religion. I can't believe this shit. Not only that, yeah, the taqiyya is about the taqiyya. They're stealing. They're telling us how to use taqiyya, and simultaneously they're stealing a BuzzFeed article, giving us a different word for what taqiyya comes from, not the actual Quran. Wataku. What the fuck? What the fuck did that mean? Like we can buy it. Okay, it's out of fear. That doesn't really change the premise, but why lie about that?
Western civilization seems to have this idea that Muslims, all they do is go home and plot the destruction.
Well, if Muslims are, it is permissible.
Oh man, it's just a whole bunch of hogwash.
I can't believe this.
When he said that, only you know who I thought of right then and there? I thought of Mo L. I was like,
he's planning a takeover of the internet. He'll succeed.
Hell yeah. But I just thought of him and I was like, yeah, this guy's he's not your average Muslim. You know, he says he plays his little video games and whatnot. You know, he's a chill dude. You know, he doesn't sit there and run down on people and shit. You know, he has his beliefs. You know, he stays in his fucking lane. I got my beliefs. I stay in my fucking lane. You got your beliefs. You sort of kind of stay in your lane, Taylor. Sort of kind of. But, you know, you stay in your fucking lane. These motherfuckers don't know how to stay in their lane. They don't. They're now trying to make their religion political. But see, this is why in the United States we have separation of church and state. Politics and religion cannot mix. Not in this nation, not in Western civilization. It should never mix. They should stay separate, away from each other, apart. The reason being is because when you put religion into politics, that's when you're going to have the issues with people not wanting to fucking do what you tell them to do. You know, we have laws, we got morals and shit. We human beings, we got morals that have been deep-seated and embedded for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. I'm just talking shit right now because, you know, Taylor walked away and shit. I just wanted to keep you folks entertained. All right, Taylor, you can continue the video. My bad.
All right, we got that one up. Let's throw it back up.
Wait, one more
For
point before
Muslims to lie. You know,
I'm fucking around. I'm just kidding.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
when does it permit us to lie? And you know, basically, where do we draw the line? Where's that line drawn in the sand to where it's permissible versus not impermissible?
So as you can see, I won't read the whole thing. It's only allowed in the most direst of circumstances and as a last resort. And what is meant as the most direst of circumstances is it's when your life is threatened, or your health is threatened, or the life of someone else is threatened. Either threatened or it's actually you're being attacked. You can't just have a fear that you're under threat. It has to be a substantive. What's the word I want to use? It has to be an actual present fear of danger, and that's when you're allowed to make taqiyya. So in the classic examples, it's when in times of warfare, when you're attacked and you know that if you're found out to be a Muslim, the enemy soldier who's trying to kill Muslims will kill you. And if you look at the second last bullet point, it's not permissible to lie, to make taqiyya, to gain wealth, to get position, and the etc. part is converting people to Islam, getting people comfortable with Islam. It's not permissible for us to lie on these matters. Okay, I think that's fine. Okay, it is better to have patience. It is a last resort. There's a minority opinion that if your life is in danger, it's actually necessary for you to make taqiyya. But the majority of Islamic scholars have said, no, it's better for you to show patience and accept whatever fate God has destined for you and actively proclaim your faith. There's a famous Quranic commentator from,
Let's check this out. When grounds for taqiyya are found, the majority opinion is that it's best not to opt for taqiyya and to proclaim one's faith. Qurtubi substantiates this opinion with the following proofs. Ashab al-Uqud endured torture for the sake of Tawheed al-Buruj. The narrative reminds Muslims to be steadfast in the face of hardship. O my son, establish the law, enjoy good, forbid evil, and endure patiently what befalls you. Surely this is among the matters of determination. Luke 1:31-17. The Prophet said, one of the greatest forms of jihad is a statement of truth in the face of a tyrant ruler. Right, another hadith contradicting taqiyya. The Prophet advised Abu al-Darda, do not ascribe partners unto Allah, even though you may be cut up into pieces and burned. Here is another hadith that contradicts taqiyya. Many companions were tortured, and they did not waver. Bilal, Asim, Kubayb, Kebab, etc. Yeah, Kebab's a cool name.
Yeah.
India,
You know, kebab is
either
kebab.
from Morocco, North Africa. I think Muslim India. Imam Qurtubi, he gave the following examples from the Quran to show that it's better to remain steadfast on the truth, even when threatened with torture. I notice I've misspelled torture there. I'm sorry. There's a verse There's a surah in the Quran at the end, Surah Buruj. I think it's Surah number 93ish. I think. It begins with an account of Christian martyrs in pre-Islamic Yemen who were burned to death by a king. They were called the Ashab al-Ukhdud. The king was a Jew. The kingdom was Jewish, and these Christians were martyred. They were martyred rather than give up their faith. So, and the Quran commends them and uses them as an example for Muslims to emulate in times of hardship. There's a prophet in the Quran, Luqman, who's considered a wise sage, and in the Quran he advises his son to endure patiently what befalls you. The Prophet himself, peace be upon him, said, one of the greatest forms of jihad is a statement of truth in the face of a tyrant ruler. And second last hadith, do not ascribe pardons unto Allah, even though you may be cut up into pieces and burnt. And we know in our history that many of the Prophet's companions, his first followers, were tortured. Some were put to death, and they didn't waver. So there's Sayyidina Bilal. He was tortured by his owners by having hot and heavy stones pressed upon him until he nearly suffocated. And he was on the hot sands, desert sands, but he remained steadfast on the religion. And these are the names of other companions who were tortured and remained steadfast. So this is the legal evidence, as it were, for taqiyya in the Quran, as in, why is it permissible? Who has made it permissible? In the second year after the Prophet's migration from Mecca to Medina, there was a battle between the Muslim forces of numbering only 313 combatants against a Meccan force of around 1,000 soldiers. The following verse was revealed: the believers should not take disbelievers as confidence.
Look at that. Look at that.
The believer should not take disbelievers as confidence in place of other believers. And whosoever does that, he has no relation with Allah except if you do so as a protective measure.
That's in
Al Imran.
And Al-Nahl. Whosoever disbelieves in Allah after faith, not one who's compelled under duress, which thou heart remains content. These are the verses that we went over just now.
Right.
Imran, chapter 3, verse 28. Right, they're still using that word. It does not appear. Right. Imran 3. Right.
The clear meaning of these verses is very clear and uncontroversial.
Yeah, okay.
It's clear and very clear at the same time, Taylor. Clear and very clear.
It's clear meaning of these verses is very clear and uncontroversial.
Are you trying to show that you're right? You got to be clear and very clear.
Yeah,
at the same time.
It's so clear that they changed the damn Quran again.
It's terrible.
Clear. All right, where is it? Al Imran, verse 28. We've already read it. We're going to read it again, obviously. Okay. If I can find it in my backwards ass Quran. Okay. Let not the disbelievers take friends for the helpless rather than believers. If you do that, there's nothing there for help, except by way of the precaution that you may guard yourselves from them. Right? Out of fear, again. Didn't say anything about protecting as a protective measure. This is the motherfucking NIV. Right? Both words are translated. They mean fear. To fear out of fear. Right? We could say protective, right? The way that like that could be that. Okay. But what they're doing is they're solidifying their little fake word that doesn't have anything to do with the words that we're looking at. They come from this passage, the word for Taqiyya, Al Imran, chapter verse 28. This is where we find the word taku and taraku. Right? They mean
Yo, clear
Taqiyya,
this real
no
quick.
Taqiyya.
Oh, is this what you're talking about? The verse?
Hold on. Technical term for Quranic revelation is wahi matu of revelation that is recited. The second type of revelation known as wahi gahir matu revelation that is not recited, ahadith. People have false ideas the Prophet saying was something he said himself while in fact was instructed by God. And he explains the various Quranic verses. All right, what do you got?
Oh no. I was telling you to back up and whatnot, but wow, you know, you're a very intelligent guy, Taylor.
Huh.
You're a very smart guy. You're a smart dude. Right now, you are the smartest of the two of us. Shit.
What?
I don't think I couldn't recite Arabic as good as you.
That's not what he said. He said that you're the smartest one. I'm a fucking idiot. Now he's on here defending lying on the internet.
Hey, that's why when he said that, I was just like, no, I'm not. I'm just not.
I'm 4 mugs deep.
I am the I am the what do you call it? The straight man. I am here along for the ride, here to fucking poke holes and shit. But I am definitely not the expert when it comes to religion and philosophy and all that. I'll freely admit that. I don't have those kind of skills, but I do know bullshit when I fucking see it.
These motherfuckers copied a whole fucking article. Now they're misinforming us on the words.
Yeah.
They said something entirely different. They did not refer to Imran 28, where we find the word Taqiyya. They said it comes from a different word, wataku, which means to protect.
Right.
And we can see how they're skirting the lines. The protective measures, like an NIV version of what the verse actually says, but it's not clear. It's not clear at all. The meaning of verses is very clear and uncontroversial.
Oh, thank you, Muhammad. Thank you.
Muhammad.
I try to stay humble.
He's our consultant on Islam.
I gotta let people dumber than me speak.
Let's move forward with the Taqiyya, man. The Taqiyya video.
Place of other believers. And whoever does that, he has no relation with Allah except if you do so as a protective measure. And that's, I've highlighted there. The word is tuqa, which is a similar word to taqiyya, means you can take the aid of non-Muslims in battle. This is the context of a battle for your protection. And it doesn't. And just to be clear, it doesn't say that the believer should take disbelievers as confidants in place of other believers. This is to do with battle in a time of warfare. It's not saying Muslims can't have non-Muslim friends.
Yeah, it's like the example would be like, let's say China and America goes for the war, right? So now it's obvious that Chinese and Americans are not going to sit together and have gossips, talk about these military strategies, right? It's obvious that's not going to happen. So the motto of the war is to like defeat your enemy no matter what, right? So in the same context, the verse is saying that you're not allowed to take the unbelievers as your friends, right? So it's in the context of the war, like I just described. Like, so I mean, in a war, you don't see people sitting, people who are fighting, sitting together and having these gossips and, having fun, right? That's not how it works. So in the same manner, the verse was revealed saying to the believers that in that situation, in the warlike situations, you are not allowed to take the believers as your allies, right? So the fear was that the believers may share some whereabouts, right? Some secrets, some military strategies. So these kind of things. So it's in that context that the verse was revealed, not in the general circumstances, right?
Just another thing. This is an example of why people shouldn't just read the Quran without the help of a commentary. Because these background details are important. There's another thing that's missed out is when the Muslims were fighting the Meccan pagans, some of them were fighting their own brothers and their fathers. They were fighting their own relatives. So this verse was revealed that your natural love for your own relatives may sway you from the truth, may lead you into divulging secrets. So that is the context that the commentaries give, that if someone just reads the Quran without looking
Hey, Taylor, did they cite that article at all?
Make an ill-informed judgment.
Huh?
They didn't cite that article at all, did they?
Did they what?
Did they cite the article, the BuzzFeed article?
I have not heard them cite that article yet.
Okay, all right.
They chopped it up and they used it, but they have not cited it. Hold on. Did we get this one? No, this one. Taylor, you can cross-check the verses quoted from the Quran.com. Yeah, I did it on my Tajweed. And that's what I learned on it, Quran.com. It was saying that the word Taqiyya came from Tataku, right? And in Imran 28, that's where they get the word from. And those two verses they just showed. In the beginning of this video, they didn't say that. They had a whole different word, wataka, or some shit. That means protection. And they were saying that Taqiyya is a protective measure, like they're trying to say now, in a alternate translation of the Quran. Now they're trying to defend where the part of the Quran we weren't actually looking at, where it's telling you not to be friends with unbelievers. They're saying, oh, because of the war, they could have gave away strategies, and they could all these fears they had other than God, like people. They're afraid of people. People could harm their effort, right? They're not divine. They don't have God on their side. They could easily fuck things up. Human errors could happen. It just makes so much fucking sense, no, doesn't it? Right? The Quran tells us there were angels helping them fight Badr. But apparently they didn't know or believe that at all. They thought that maybe somebody could, right? Having an unbeliever over here could fuck that all up. You can't confine yourself to one translation. But yeah, looking at the meanings of the word is the only way you can understand it, because that's right. They have 1,000 bootsy translations, and it's for fucking apologists just like this. We have the same problem with the Bible. There's these apologists, they don't like having to defend certain things that they don't agree with. So they look out and they go on a rabbit hunt in the barrel to find the translation that they love the best. And this is how they get this textual criticism. They want a translation. You go, well, my ESV says this. And you be like, oh, well, your ESV says this. He's like, well, the NIV says that. So I can take my ESV and my NIV and my NLT, and I can take my revised standard version. I can take my American standard version. And when that fucks up, I can get a new version. And with all these different Bible translations, I can come to you with one incoherent belief system.
My bad.
There's only one Quran and there's hundreds of translations of it. It's one book that hasn't changed over the 1,400 years it's been around, but it's been translated into 20 different translations at least. And we even got different words being used and shit. But let's see how else this goes, because now we're talking about the Battle of Badr.
That's why we say you.
The angels helped.
You should rely upon expert commentaries when you're reading the Quran, because the Quran is revealed with this contextual information, historical information, not explicitly written down.
Yeah, and this is the tactic, cheap tactics these anti-Muslim bigots use, right? They take these Quranic verses because they are there in the Quran, right? and portray and tell the people that, look, we're not lying. This is what it says. It literally says that. They don't know. Now the normal masses will know the context behind it, right? The Quran is a book. It's just not a book, which talks about divinely attributes or divinely commands, right? It's a social book as well, right? It tells Muslims how to live, how to act in different situations, right? Now these Islamophobes use these tactics, to press on the innocence of these people, and push their narrative. So that's like what Hanif said. It is important. This is why it is important to know the context of the Quranic verses, that in what context that these sort of verses were revealed, right? So it's not like you can't take these verses as literal, right? And then believe whatever you want. There is a context behind it, right? The Quran was revealed in 23 years, right? So the Prophet and his companions had to go through different phases. There was a phase of war. There were other phases too, right? So these verses, which talks about warfare, which talks about these things, right? Taqiyya, it has a context, and that's what you need to know. It just cannot take these verses out of context.
God
and,
damn,
go at
11
us
English
as if,
translations?
we
That's
have
amazing.
got some imperfection in our
Too much.
religion. That's not how it's going to work, right? In order to have an intellectual discourse, you have to know the context, and then we can make progress, right?
This was a question that was brought up by Victor in the chat, and I think it's important to answer it. The other brothers in here also said that they pointed it out that this is something that we should answer. We do invite Victor, if you'd like to, here soon. We will be inviting people to call in and have a conversation with us. So maybe we could answer this question for you right now. And if you would like to further discuss, if you still have some further issues, you can go ahead and call in. And we'll be able to talk about it. But yeah, Hatem, did you wanna address this?
Oh no, he is saying something though.
Yeah, I just want to say really quickly that so for Muslims, it's more than just we have these rules to follow, and it's open to interpretation. It's not just the rules. We also have an example of how the rules are implemented. And that's with the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is that it's not just the rules, because as this guy rightly said, it's open to interpretation. But we also have a correct understanding as to how this should be interpreted. And I think another point to mention is that you're always going to have that those groups of people that try and find loopholes in God's law, right? So I mean, you could imagine the classic example is what some Jews do in the Sabbath, where they don't want to work. I remember hearing once that so there's this fisherman that was a Jew, and so on the Sabbath they're not allowed to work. So what he does, he just leaves a net. He just leaves a net there, and I think some bait or something. And the fish go inside. He's like, "Hey, look, I'm not working. The fish just entered my net. I'm not technically working." You're always gonna have those sorts of people who try and find loopholes, and it's not just a problem for Muslims. It's a problem for secular humanists as well. So we'd all agree that in the case of if you're hiding a Jew or something from the Nazis, that this is
There they go back with the fucking Jews.
This sort of deception is moral, it's good, it's right, but so the same guidelines that a lot of secular humanists have can also be manipulated by the bad apples in their community, let's say. So I don't think it's a problem that's exclusive to Muslims. So, now the difference is we have a model, we have a person who we can follow that gives us the correct interpretation, where I don't think the same could be said for secular humanists. So I think we have an advantage in that. So I actually think it could be a bigger problem for secular humanists. But
okay. Can you bring up that question back up again, please, just quickly, if you wouldn't mind? Okay, let's just address this. I actually don't think there's there's anything difficult here in what Victor is bringing up, and anyone with any common sense and normal sense of social awareness will have the same answer. Let's take the first part, the threat to your wealth. If you were the victim of a home invasion, yeah, and the burglars come into your house and say, tell us where your safe is. If Victor is saying, one should be honest with them and say, my safe is in my bedroom behind the master bedroom, and that picture there, no one's going to say that, okay? So neither a Muslim is going to say that's a lie. That a person has to tell the house burglar exactly where the wealth is kept, and no one else is. So there's no room for interpretation here when a threat to wealth is considered grounds for lying. Okay, so I don't think Victor would tell someone exactly where his money's kept. If he's threatened, he'll lie, and no one's going to blame him for it. Secondly, when he says deceiving someone into thinking you're their friend when you really hate them. But the point is, our religion doesn't tell us to do that.
Yeah.
And nothing of what I've said in the presentation tells us as Muslims that although we hate non-Muslims, apparently, we have to pretend to be their friends. I mean,
Yeah.
You were a Muslim and I was still your friend, and I wasn't angling to get you to become a Muslim. You were still my friend. We've got friends online. I have friends in my personal life. Whether they become Muslims or not, that's down to them.
I think there is a clear-cut hadith and the Quranic verse that relates to this idea that, like, there is a hadith which says that you can't be a believer unless what you love for others, you love for yourself, right? So you have to love for others, yeah, the same what you love for yourself. It's clear, and there is no controversy or some things which makes the hadith incorrect. It's a very authentic hadith which says that you have to love for others the same what you love for yourself. And there is a Quranic verse, which is clear and cut, which says that, "O you who believe, stand firmly for justice as witnesses to Allah, even if against yourself." Now this is important, right? So my friend, you'd have to understand this, right? This is a verse which is chapter 4, 135, that says, "O you who believe, stand firmly for justice as witnesses to Allah, even if against yourself or your parents or your relative, whether one is rich or poor. Allah takes care of both. So do not follow your desires, lest you swerve. If you deviate or turn away, then Allah is aware of what you do." Now these are clear-cut verses, right? Which if you're really honest, it should give you an idea that what is our stance on lying and being truthful, right? And about our religion. So I mean, there should not be any confusion left after these so many verses in the Quran and the Hadith which Muhammad Hanif quoted. There shouldn't be any doubt left, right? So the thing about Taqiyya, I think we explained it very well. When it is applied, in what circumstances it's applied, it can act as it can work as an act of mercy, instead of being an immoral act. And we give an example like how it can act as a mercy. So so it's clear cut.
All right. Let's move back into the presentation. This is already the next one up for you, Hanif.
All right, here it is.
I won't go through the first paragraph. That's just, you can read it afterwards. So the Prophet is saying here, a liar is not one who tries to bring. Okay, so this is the exceptions. When can someone lie? Some of the examples of the times when someone can lie. A liar is not one who tries to bring reconciliation amongst people and speaks good in order to avert dispute, or he conveys good. A famous scholar who heard hadith said, he did not hear that exemption was granted in anything what the people speak as lies, but in 3 cases: in battle, for bringing reconciliation.
Some hadith shit.
and the narration of the words of the husband to his wife, and the narration of the words of a wife to her husband, in order to bring about reconciliation between them. Essentially, there's really two cases here. Lying, according to the Prophet, is permitted in warfare, in battle. Hopefully, the reasons for that are obvious.
Is this in our article?
The second is to bring reconciliation between people.
Oh no, I don't think this is in the article.
Friends or husband and wife.
But when they were talking,
you say
this
go to the husband.
definitely runs along the lines of
you're upset with your wife.
fucking politics.
Upset that there's a dispute, like or vice versa, or you go to a friend and say you've fallen out with your friend, but he's told me that he really wants to make up with you, although he hasn't. But you're doing it to bring the two together. So here we're talking about a white lie. So that's in the hadith,
which works for the good, not for the good.
That's racist.
Lying for the good, and ultimately for the good. So it's utilitarian in this sense. So if you move along, if you wish, we can carry on talking about it.
Sure, we should move forward.
Okay.
Lying in war.
Come to controversial one here. This is a specific case which is brought up against Muslims. The next slide will explain the context. So there's a hadith in which the Messenger of God asked, who is willing to kill Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf, who has hurt Allah and his apostle? Thereupon, one of his companions, Muhammad ibn Maslama, as someone else, got up and said, O Allah's apostle, would you like that I kill him? The Prophet said, yes. Muhammad ibn Maslama said, then allow me to say a false thing to Ka'b to deceive him. The Prophet said, you may say it. So here is an incident that happened where the Prophet gave permission for one of his companions to assassinate someone who was an enemy of Islam during a time of warfare, and we'll come to that. So this is under the general rubric of lying in war. So this is an event that's often brought up to embarrass it, as it were, and criticize Islam.
He hurt Allah and his apostle.
Okay, so this is a bit more dense.
Who was Ka'b? Let's see this.
He was a Jewish poet.
All right,
and the leader.
Hold on. Who is Ka'b? So
Ka'b's not.
It's okay now. It's okay to lie and shit during a war. So if you want to kill somebody like this guy Ka'b, it's okay. The Prophet said, yeah, you can go lie to the people, just like I was saying before. You can go lie, say you're not a Muslim, tell them some stupid shit, and lure them in and assassinate them.
Mm-hmm. So it was okay to lie to assassinate this dude? Can you hear me? Wait, did I mute my mic? No, I didn't mute my mic. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh. So all right, yeah. So that's what they saying, that it was allowed to assassinate this guy. I thought that it was. I thought Taqiyya wasn't allowed for shit like this. I thought Taqiyya was only allowed. What did they say? Taqiyya was only allowed when their lives were threatened. What's so threatening about this Ka'b dude or Ka'b? Archangel Gabriel had informed Muhammad about a treaty signed by Ka'b and Abu Sufyan, creating an alliance between the Quraysh and the 40 Jews against the Prophet during Ka'b's visit to Mecca.
Yeah, what's this dude Ka'b? We're stuck in this chat.
Yeah. He's fucking. Thanks for pointing it out, Taylor. Why is everybody on your nuts so much but me? I'm like, I point something the fuck out. I'm a dumbass.
We gotta say something.
I'm all kinds of fucking names and shit.
Alright,
I swear,
alright,
I'm
look,
sick of these.
I'm
I'm
gonna
sick
say
of
this.
your friends fucking sitting here and insulting me and shit. I don't say nothing about them. We have not said one thing about these motherfuckers. I have staved off on personal attacks in this video and erstwhile and whatnot. And I'm really.
Yeah, we're getting flack, but they acknowledge it. And we gotta say one thing. We gotta say, right? We gotta say because we owe it because we have Muslim subscribers here. We have Muslims that watch our videos, and we fucking take a shit on Islam all the time, and they still watch us. So we have to be appreciative of their patronage, and we have to distinguish that this is a video targeted at Justin, and there is some innocent bystanders that probably have no idea what Justin is doing. We have to acknowledge that, yes. Okay, this is more Justin style than them style.
We're being canceled. Taylor, I'm gonna get canceled now. Now I'm gonna get canceled.
We have to be fair. For the sake of young Muhammad. Young Muhammad is a devout Muslim. He watches our shows religiously. We've made him a moderator here. We've given him the respect he deserves here. So to respect Islam just a little bit, we're gonna say that this is Justin. Because Justin is a black eye to Islam. Wait,
what?
So we have to be fair. Okay. I'm pretty sure, and I believe this wholeheartedly, that Eunice and Hanif and Adam are sitting there unbeknownst to them that Justin's PowerPoint is completely plagiarized.
It is. It's 100% plagiarized. 100%. It's not in their own words.
Just my right. I would have to be honest. Like, I've been in these calls with these guys, and I'm 100% certain that is exactly what is happening. I'm not even gonna go, oh, there's no way you didn't know. No, because I know this shit for a fact that they trust the guy and he's doing some stupid shit. So if they have a problem, yes, we believe you.
Oh, so it was, and I didn't say who did it anyway. Why is he coming at my neck? Like,
when I say
I never even
you knew about it beforehand, we believe you if you say you did it because we know who likes to do this. Obviously, the person that we're making fun, like the person we target, is the one that's likely to do something like this. The little bystanders that show up in the video. So.
Why are you making up lies about me? What about you, Ray? You don't like it when people talk about you, but you talk about people you don't know freely.
Yeah, but he said
I didn't say nothing the fuck about you, Tim.
No,
I never said a damn thing about you.
He said he didn't know, and I'm inclined to believe that he didn't know. Because
I'm inclined to believe he didn't know either. But why insult me? What did I do for the insults? That doesn't even make any damn sense.
Well, we're on here. Like, we'll be fair. We're on here. I go in there and go, they plagiarized the video.
I mean, shit.
I said that.
All I did was point out. All I did was post the article. That's it. I posted the article.
To admit, I had it was a poor choice of words on my part. I should have said, look, we caught Khalil with his pants down again.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been they, right, with them all involved in their little circle jerk.
Right, and I didn't mention you by name, Tim. If you watch this, John, later on and shit, I didn't mention you by name. I don't give a fuck who it was. I just noticed it. I saw the article. I saw the same photos. Decided to share. Was like, hey, look what's up in there.
If you look at it, poor little Hatim is just sitting in his corner, barely. I think he said like fucking 5 things the whole fucking video so far.
Yeah, right. He spoke about his little liberal nonsense and shit, and fucking. Where the Westerners, cried your little tears, but all right, that's all the rips I'm gonna take at you. Since you're so fucking sensitive and shit.
I'll say my position on this is, this is like Khalil intellectually laziness. What on the internet took a whole fucking article off of BuzzFeed.
I noticed that he changed spelling of his name. Kalulula?
These guys don't know this, and they're guilty by association alone, and they're in the video that we're gonna review. And that's sorry, guys, that we got you involved, but yeah,
Be careful of the company you keep. This will be a lesson moving forward.
I ain't sorry for shit. Fuck all that. I'm not apologizing.
Their word is good to me if they did not know that happened. If they find a problem with that and they did not know, right, I'm not going to push that you did know or anything like that.
Yeah, I ain't gonna push that either because I don't fucking know if you knew or not. I care less.
I'd say it's more Justin style than anybody else. I haven't seen anyone do anything that fucking lazy.
Whose PowerPoint presentation is that, anyways?
It looks like it's Justin. This Justin show. It looks like Justin's doing this. This is something Justin likes to do. He likes to plagiarize people, the arguments, and parrot other arguments.
It's pretty good.
Right?
It's basic looking as fuck.
Justin has the MO to do something like that, where everyone else here seems to be quoting, right? They're talking, they're quoting the Quran from memory. Justin's posting fucking articles he copied off the internet. So yeah,
you know, for a guy who preaches against liberalism, he sure fucking just jacks from liberalism articles and shit all the fucking time. He should practice what you preach, Justin.
So we're gonna go back.
Practice what you preach.
But we're not gonna do it. We're gonna do it the right way. We're not gonna do it the wrong way. We're not gonna use Taqiyya. We're not gonna pretend we know the intentions of everybody here. We're gonna go with the facts. With the fact, your boy Khalil Allah does shit like this all the time. All right, we don't think it's a contagious. Well, at least I hope it's not. But I think where we left off, we were talking about who this guy that the Hadith says that the Prophet gave permission to lie in order to kill a guy. This Hadith culture, man. These Hadithers, they're fucking Hadiths. But this is an awesome Hadith that's being shared. All right. Ka'b was a Jewish leader who is seen as a tyrant. All right. Tell us, yeah, let's have like Muhammad, young Muhammad's our trusted source. You tell us about Ka'b, because what they're saying is that Ka'b,
Ka'b, man, Ka'b.
Or Ka'b, my bad.
Ka'b. I mean, unless that comma is a T or some shit.
A Jewish poet and a leader of the Banu Nadir tribe that had allied with the Prophet and accepted the authority. Various reasons give the source. He had provoked the Quraysh against the Prophet by bewailing Quraysh victims of the battle in a poem, returning shortly thereafter to Medina to compose verses of an insulting nature about the Muslim women. Ibn Hashim's biography of the Prophet reports Ka'b was as saying, "By Allah, if Muhammad was indeed struck down those people, then it were better to be burned in the earth than to walk upon it." He had plotted with a group of Jews to kill the Prophet Muhammad. Archangel Gabriel had informed Muhammad about a treaty signed by Ka'b and Abu Sufyan, creating an alliance between the Quraysh and 40 Jews against Prophet during Ka'b's visit to Mecca. Now, young Muhammad, do you agree with all this information here? Do you think there's anything in error with that? Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf had made known his support for violence against the Muslim community, so killing him was done as a legitimate act of self-defense, not simply because he criticized the Prophet.
Oh, they killed this dude?
Well, yeah, they were trying to. They assassinated. He was a threat, obviously. So it wasn't simply because he had criticized the Prophet. That's what they're saying. Not the insulting poems that they're putting here about Ka'b.
Fucking amazing.
So this is the guy. He was given permission to tell a lie just to get rid of this guy.
They're telling us all about Cobb. And this is where the Hadith said that they could allow to kill this guy. So lying in the name of now, so we've nuanced the term Taqiyya to where they're lying in it's a war and they're lying because this guy going is a good idea because he's definitely a threat to the well-being of a lot of Muslims.
This nigga's a badass. Pardon my French.
Yeah, let's see. Cobb was looking for ethnic cleansing. So he was genocidal as well.
A Jew? I didn't know they could be genocidal.
Genocidal Jew with an Arabic name.
Holy shit. They should make a movie off of this. That'd be a dope ass movie.
Well, The Messenger, but I don't remember if it has this.
Oh, The Messenger? That's with what's his face? What, Eric Bana, I think it was. One of them
Of the Muslim community. So it's not as much ethnic as it is. So he was anti-Muslim. He wanted them all to die.
Oh.
So the
I
historian
don't think he's a badass because of that. I just think he's a badass because they wanted him fucking dead, and he held such great influence that they felt he was a threat.
Yeah. So this is who Cobb is. Now some of this stuff isn't in the article. So we cleared that up.
But what was in the article?
I don't think any of this. So it's fair to say that, yeah, there's an article that's just fucking straight plagiarized. And like there's shit that's obviously not in the article that's been typed up. Right? They're trying to make points here. Right?
And a lot of those points that they were making was coming from that article.
Yeah, so young Muhammad is saying that he could verify some of this. So it's just young Muhammad's a trusted source here on Debate the Facts. We could just go. If you don't disagree with it, we can agree that this was a guy that the Muslims definitely wanted to get rid of. It was definitely expedient to them that this Jew boy had to go. Yeah, we still live as fuck, Daz. We still live, buzzing like a beehive.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So yeah, young Muhammad's vetting the information we have so far. So let's continue.
Of a tribe, a Jewish tribe called the Banu Nadir, that had allied themselves with the Prophet and had entered into a peace treaty with him to accept his authority. So he was a poet, and it's not just any old thing to be a poet in the time of Arabia. Poets were the kin of CNN, NBC. They were the ones who roused people to war. They're the ones who were used as propaganda to incite followers to attack enemies. So this man, what he had done, there are various reasons given for the reason why the Prophet wanted him assassinated. This was after the Battle of Badr, which we mentioned earlier. He had provoked the Quraysh against the Prophet by bewailing the Quraysh victims of the Battle of Badr in a poem. After returning shortly to Medina to compose verses insulting Muslim women. Ibn Hisham, in his biography of the Prophet, reports Ka'b as saying, "By Allah, if Muhammad has indeed struck down those people, meaning the pagan army that had come to attack the Muslims, then it were better to be buried in the earth than to walk upon it." He had also been reported to have plotted with a group of Jews to kill the Prophet. And in other narrations, the Archangel Gabriel had informed the Prophet about a treaty signed between Ka'b and Abu Sufyan, the leader of the Meccan tribes, the Quraysh tribe, to fight the Muslims during a visit he made to Mecca. So the context, if you go back to that saying, if you wouldn't mind, the previous hadith, previous slide. Previous one. The context of this slide is this is a time of warfare between Muslims and a powerful opposing forces. The Quraysh, the pagans of Mecca, they had tried to get the surrounding Jewish tribes to act as fifth columnists and attack the Muslims from within. And Ka'b was one of their chief spies and chief instigators. So Ka'b had essentially acted in seditious treason. And the Prophet had, as a military leader, as the head of state, commanded his death for violating the peace treaties Ka'b entered into with the Muslims. So that's the justification behind and the rationale, the context behind this hadith. That's often used to criticize Muslims. Okay, so now we're moving on, and I just want to next few slides are really about how typical it is, really how uncontroversial it is about.
All right, so we're gonna get into how deception and war, because there is a hadith where the Prophet says war is deception, and I have a feeling this is where that's going. But to catch you up, Daz, okay, we're watching a video about Taqiyya and when Taqiyya is permissible. Justin's portion of the contribution is all plagiarized from a BuzzFeed article.
Oh man.
So they're explaining Taqiyya to us, and they're saying, right, we found it in the Quran. There's two verses. There's 328 and 16106 in the Quran. We find the word Taqiyya in the Quran. It's coming from a word meaning to fear, in Imran 3 or to verse 28, ayah 28. All right, Takara Taqi, right? Dude, I'm fucking couple of beers deep. I can barely speak English right now. So that's right. 328 is what you need. That's where it is. It's in 328. Okay, we talked about that. We've gotten through the Taqiyya. It's only to be used as a preventative measure. First is you don't lie about a law. Second is you can lie about a law if you're in danger or you fear. Third is you can lie if it's deceiving war, because war is deception, obviously. All right. And he could have explained the whole context, but luckily young Muhammad did. The actual content was the Prophet and the immigrants had just moved to Medina, and they have obviously some resistance there with this guy corn on the cob. This doesn't sound like words from an almighty God. It's just a human being trying to figure shit out.
Yeah, I said that. That's exactly. No, yeah. I said that earlier. I was like, it just doesn't sound like something anyone who is supposed to be in fear of their God, in reverence of their Lord, their Creator, would fucking do. Like, if you are 100% legit in service to your fucking God, you're not gonna fucking kowtow based off of what do they call that, persecution and shit. I wouldn't.
Yeah, they're saying,
I don't even have a God.
They even made the case that some of the Muslims did do this shit, like Bilal. He got whipped. Right? There's the story of Bilal. Like he was like there was a guy professing Islam, and right the Bilal was a slave right before he converted.
So they gave Bilal the whip and had the guy he said, whip him. So he'd be whipped by a slave. That's humiliating. And Bilal dropped the whip and said, no, there's one God, and that is Allah, and Prophet is right. He gave his shahada right there. Right. I'm getting this from the movie The Messenger, by the way. And he gets whipped. They both get the shit beaten out of them for being Muslims. And then Abu Bakr comes and buys Bilal, the slave, and frees him. And then they go off with the Prophet and they become the Sahabis. And so those dudes took it like men. So there's people that in the case do take it like men. But they're saying that Taqiyya is for that very purpose. That if you don't, you can't take it like a man. Surely Allah is merciful. Just deny you exist and deny that you're a Muslim. How can people believe this in this fucked up shit? Well, you're gonna have to ask them one. But yeah, so we're into this now. We're going into like war is deception because the Prophet does say that in the Hadith. I remember that being a Hadith. Right, when I was researching this in the Hadith, there is a Hadith that doesn't say anything. It just says the Prophet was heard saying, "War is deceit." That's the whole Hadith. As the Maharajin Irgams arrived in Medina, they were taken as guests by Ansar, people of Medina, right? But they obviously had like a ruling class because the Ansar were farmers, and I think I know a little bit about this. The Ansar were farmers, and they asked Muhammad because they knew he was a good arbitrator based on other hadiths about Muhammad's dealings in Mecca. They invited him to Medina because they knew he was a wise arbitrator, so he could settle a dispute between the Ansar and the Banu, whatever the fuck, which were Jews. And right, they were obviously, the landlords because they're fucking Jews. Typical. So there's a dispute, so they're going to settle. Of course, there's going to be animosity towards the arbitrator. There's more. Exactly. See, I got it. We do more research, right? Research is golden. So yeah, now we're going into the Sun Tzu, right? He's going to appeal to Sun Tzu that it's not controversial to be deceptive in war, and in fact, we need to do it because Sun Tzu says it. You really have done your homework, yes. I'm a Christian, and I think some of the shit in the Bible is bullshit. What is happening to people's minds that they take this shit seriously? I have no idea how the fuck you're a Christian. You think some of the Bible's bullshit. Who's calling me done alive? James.
Oh, this fucking James Saunders guy.
Dude, what a fucking idiot. That man, Canadians.
I know, a whole fucking weirdo.
Such a fucking kick in the nuts. These
Real shit.
Canadians, the worst fucking neighbors ever. Right? The Canadians to us are like the damn Jews to the Ansars.
Hey, we're in the middle of a show, Saunders.
Let's jump back into the fucking good stuff.
When one can lie, such for instance, deception in war. Here we have Sun Tzu, famous Chinese military general.
All warfare is based on deception.
All warfare is based upon deception.
Able to attack.
And you've got that longer quote on the side.
We must.
You should read it. You should read it. It's important.
Muhammad, you read it. You go ahead and read it first.
Okay, so he says all warfare is based on deception. Hence, we are able to attack. We must seem unable. When using our forces, we must appear inactive. When we are near, we must make the enemy believe that we are far away. When we are far away, we must make him believe that we are near. So he's saying that, you just have to deceive your enemy to win a war. So it's as simple as that. So it's not like, just Islam that says something like this. It's just Chinese philosopher and army commander, as Hanif said it, so he's using the same language.
Yeah, his book is studied in every single military academy. It's studied in Harvard's business school and every business school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll take his teachings on board. So if you're
absolutely, and he would be considered a great commander if he won the war using these tactics, right? Like he is going to gain appreciation from the people and from his country that if he did use these tactics and that these
Taylor,
skills
check
to
your
win a war,
instant messenger.
with an enemy, he would be appreciated, right?
Check
so
your
the
IM.
same thing is like we're saying the same thing, so it's no different. And he has no religious affiliation. He has nothing to do with Islam. So it's just a normal thing, and could be applied by anyone, who is like in the situation of war. You have it.
Oh, I seen it.
okay.
George
So
motherfucking
there we have good
Washington.
old George
We got
Washington.
comments.
Khalil, your first president
Oi.
and founding father.
Fuck to it, yo.
I don't know if anybody wants to read that long passage.
Yeah, I'll read it for you guys.
It's about the siege of it's about the siege of Boston. Siege of Boston.
Let him read it.
So, as head of the Continental Army, George Washington successfully used deception to equalize the odds of the fight against the larger, better equipped, better trained British Army and its mercenary allies. During the siege of Boston from April 1775 to March 1776, the newly organized Continental Army suffered from numerous equipment and supply shortages. Among the most critical was a lack of gunpowder, which was so acute in that in a battle, Washington's troops would be able to fire no more than 9 bullets per man.
Don't shoot
To
until you
conceal
see
the
lights
lack
in
of
their
gunpowder
eyes.
from the British, Washington's quartermaster soldiers filled gunpowder casks with sand and shipped them from Providence, Rhode Island to the Continental Army's depots. The deception fooled British spies, and the British command decided not to risk an attack during the siege. Wow.
Should he be condemned, Khalil?
That's a, yeah.
I mean,
that
was a smart move.
I mean, it prevented.
So they fucking tricked them into believing they have gunpowder. So that's perfectly equates to fucking making up, telling someone to bullshit and assassinating them. That's
Right.
the perfect. That's the perfect. Yeah, a holy prophet telling you to do this too.
This was like,
This is the coolest apologetics video I've ever seen in my life. This starts.
what kind of comparison is this? This isn't even the same. It doesn't even fucking equate. This does not equate to renouncing your God at all. Like one fucking iota.
They're just saying it's not so abnormal, right, for people to lie during war. Because George Washington did it. Sun Tzu saying in the the art of war, yeah, deception is part of war. So when people are in war, they're gonna lie. They're gonna use Taqiyya.
Yeah.
They're gonna
use
deceptive.
taquitos.
Right? I'm in danger of hellfire. Am I not? Would it not be to my benefit that you lie and convince me to be a Muslim?
That's where we really nuance things now, isn't it? What are the tactics of war in a Quran from an almighty God, all merciful God?
Well, that's another question you're gonna have to ask Muslims. Because that's what we're mind fucking baffled about. Not only that, yeah, exactly. These fuckers can, use the key to save me from Jahannam. Con me into believing in the God of the book, the Quran. Even though they're vehemently denying that that's allowed. But, like, if we look at this and we try to gather what they're telling us, that's exactly what it's indicating to this moment. That the key is to protect. It's to protect yourself, to protect others. Like they were saying, right, with the Jews. They can protect me from Jahannam. from the shaitan that can lie to me, protect my life. All right, let's keep rolling because we kind of deep into this, man.
Fuck, it's almost 10 o'clock here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get up for work soon.
Yeah, we got
An attack, right? So
Yeah, it did.
Isn't George Washington famous for saying, "I shall not tell a lie"?
Yeah. Mashallah.
No, I think that was Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, okay, Abraham Lincoln.
that sounds like the liar's paradox to
Yeah,
me.
yeah, because Abraham Lincoln is Honest Abe.
Honest Abe. Okay.
Yep, Honest Abe.
Okay.
You want me to read the next one too?
Yeah. Again, it's one of you. It's one of you lying Americans again.
All right.
Right? Of course. Us horrible Americans. This one's about Normandy. Before the June 1944 D-Day invasion of Normandy, the Allies launched a deception codename Operation Bodyguard. As part of Bodyguard, the Operation Quicksilver deception portrayed First United States Army Group Fusage, a skeleton headquarters commanded by Omar Bradley, as an army group to command by George Patton in Operation Fortitude South. Another component of Bodyguard, the Germans were persuaded that Fusage would also invade France at Basta Calais.
Pas-de-Calais.
Okay. In the fall of 1944, British and American troops used dummy equipment, false radio traffic, and double agents to deceive German intelligence on the location and timing of the invasion. The Germans awaited the Calais landing for many weeks after the real landings
it's
in Normandy,
Calais,
leaving
but
in
here.
place.
it's
Oh
Calais.
my god,
Calais.
why they got this guy trying to read French and shit?
Hold on, let's get into this before they go. Did Jesus lie? Lying in the Bible. This is the strong.
Yeah, because if I read another one of these damn comparisons to fucking
Passages in the Bible
military
express a negative
tactics
view
and
of
shit,
lying.
I'm just gonna fucking
You
lose
shall
my
not
shit.
steal, nor deal falsely, nor lie to one another. Cursed is he who does the work of the Lord deceitfully. Okay, so here, if you want to attract non-Christians to Christianity, you're not to do it deceitfully. So, for instance, in Israel at the moment, there's a movement called Jews for Jesus, who try to lure Jews into Christianity by trying to make Jesus out to be as Jewish as possible. They've been accused of being deceitful in their evangelizing. Lastly, there's the martyrdom of Stephen. He was a Greek Christian, and he was stoned to death by a mob after his trial by the Jewish Sanhedrin, and that's in the Acts of the Apostles. So he didn't lie, didn't do taqiyya, and was martyred as a result.
Lying in the Bible.
There's the clear-cut evidence in the Bible that lying is not allowed as well. None of us here
100%.
are saying that Jews and Christians are meant to lie according to their scripture.
All right.
Again,
We don't have to go through all these. We have been going on for about an hour, and we'll try and move to the, because we already got somebody in the back.
It's true.
Abraham does lie about
if
his
you want
sister
to, we can
Twice.
kind of go through this if somebody wants to go through them, exhaustively.
I'll summarize it. Essentially, there are incidents in the Old Testament where it can be made out, if one wants to be uncharitable, that people like Abraham or people who are praised
Lies.
acted as if they lied or acted deceitfully, and
Yeah.
they weren't condemned for it. So there's the case of Abraham and his son Isaac passing off their wives as their sisters. But there's a famous incident of Rahab, the prostitute, who allowed the Jews to take the town of Jericho by hiding and lying about Jewish spies from soldiers who went in to investigate. So, I mean, if I wanted to be uncharitable, if I wanted to twist the Bible, I could say, look, here's
Look at this shit. All right. Twice Abraham passes Sarah off as his sister, and once Isaac passes off Rebecca as his sister. Genesis 26, 1 through 16. Okay. This happens, and nobody's proud of that. The Hebrew midwives who lie after Pharaoh commands them to kill all newborn boys, the midwives appear to be rewarded for their actions, which they're not. God dealt with them when the midwives and gave them families. All right. That does happen. They don't appear to be rewarded for their actions, though. They do it for not killing their newborns. Rahab, all right? Rahab, an innkeeper who lies to soldiers while hiding spies in her inn. This is true. She does lie. Now, James appears to praise Rahab, an example of good works, and in the same way was not also Rahab the prostitute just by works when she received the messengers and sent them out by another way. Yes, she didn't give them up. She wasn't rewarding for lying. She was rewarded for not snitching. And here we go, a book that's not even in the fucking Bible, the book of Judith. You only find in a Catholic Bible that nobody gives a fuck about.
Wait, the book of what?
The book of Judith. It's only in the Catholic Bible.
What the hell is that at?
It's in the Catholic Bible. Nobody gives a fuck about Judith. Most people don't even know who that is. Catholics even.
No. Who the fuck is Judith?
This is the case for Taqiyya.
Hold on. So, and most of these, most of them, but some of these examples, they come before God shed His covenant with the Jews, with the Hebrew, with Moses. So, be honest with you. Just saying, they probably didn't know about this shit just yet. You know, that thou shalt not lie thing didn't come around until like after fucking Moses led the fucking Hebrew out of fucking Egypt. So I mean, you know, like those are piss poor examples. Anything that comes before the book of Exodus. Where does Hebrews take place? Does that take place before Exodus and shit? I know it comes after the first 5 books of the Bible, though.
What are you talking about?
The book of Hebrews.
The book of Hebrews is in the New Testament.
It's in the New Testament. Okay, so that's like wait, yeah. And like you were saying, you know, she wasn't lying. She was practicing Taqiyya.
Yeah,
but she wasn't hiding anyone from God. She wasn't denouncing God. You know, Taqiyya is denouncing God, denouncing your faith. Essentially, none of these people were denouncing their faith. Come on. I mean, like, what the hell? They're trying to say that Muslims only lie in Taqiyya. Muslims have lied. They've lied. I'm pretty sure they act like, and this is the thing. You guys aren't fucking saints. You aren't saints. Atheists aren't saints. Christians aren't saints. We all know Catholics, the little boy fuckers, aren't saints. Okay, so like let's get real. You guys are not fucking saints. This is what I say about black people all the fucking time. We not all fucking saints. We're not perfect. No one's perfect. People are gonna lie, cheat, steal, murder, oppress.
See, the problem they don't know is that Abraham was right. He wasn't telling a lie about his sister. He was married to his half sister, according to the Bible. So. And that's what his excuse was. Well, I didn't lie because she is my sister, just not by my mother, not the same mother, but the same father. That doesn't make it any better.
Yeah, that just makes it weird.
You see how much they're willing to twist. I want to see what they have to say about Jesus. Now, where did Jesus lie? Oops, I removed it. Let's go into the Jesus lies.
Said, go away, for the girl is not dead, but sleeping.
Okay, so the point is, this is the incident of Jairus' daughter. Jesus was asked to raise Jairus' daughter from the dead. She was dead. And as I've highlighted in the end, Jesus says, go away, she's not dead, but sleeping. Now, technically, that's not true. The girl had died. So if one wants to be literal, Jesus lied here. But if we move on to the next point, we'll see that the context tells us that it wasn't a lie. And the passage actually continues and says, and they laughed at him, meaning they knew that he was being metaphoric in what he was saying, that she hadn't died, she was merely sleeping, and that he'd raised her from the dead.
So, Hanif, basically what you're stating is that whether it's a Christian talking to Muslim or Muslim talking to Christian or whoever, whatever belief and whatever context we're reading from, we need to have the full context. We shouldn't be cherry picking verses just to try and call people out and make something look like what it isn't. Because I mean that is, you know, in my mind, in my opinion, dishonest in a way. If you're truly just,
let's go back to that.
Does it say that in the Bible?
No, it does not. They're making their observation of what they think the Bible says. That's why they didn't show it. But passes Sarah off as his sister.
Yeah, I'll summarize.
No, move forward. So we were on Jesus. We got past this part. We're past this.
Daughter?
Yeah, we're past this nonsense.
No, but this shit, where Abraham's lying. They're talking about dishonesty.
This is 18 to 24. So they did verses 18 to 24.
Twice Abraham passes off as his sister. Okay. Now, what is Abraham's sister?
All right, so here, hold on, Taylor. Let me read this real quick. See, I like to move forward. I like to move to the future. All right, let's leave Abraham. We already know Abraham was fucking his half sister and shit.
Yes. So that was.
But let's move to where they was calling Jesus a fucking liar.
All
right. So Jesus turned. Where is it at? 18. It starts at 18. So.
This is
Christian talking to Muslim or Muslim talking to Christian or whoever, whatever belief.
No, don't pause it. Pause it real quick.
Context we're reading from, we need to have
do they
context.
go?
We shouldn't be cherry picking verses just to try and call people out and make something look like what it isn't. Because I mean that is, you know, in my mind, in my opinion, dishonest in a way. If you
remember that quote.
Yeah, exactly.
And remember that they said that Abraham lied about being right, Sarah being his sister.
Yeah.
All right. Now hold on. What does the Bible say about that?
It's very dishonest. But I would like to hear what they say after this.
I would like to.
Let me see how like
so you don't just disassociate.
No, I don't care. I'm disassociating. I'm associating everything that they say because I mean, really, come on. I am on the cliffhanger of this. Did Jesus lie? Because I don't believe he lied.
I know. We're gonna get to that, but let me show you.
I put pins and needles. I need a cigarette. That's how much on pins. Even I'm a whole fucking atheist, and I'm sitting here trying to prove Jesus didn't lie. It's right there in the fucking Bible.
I'll show you the passage from Mark about Jairus' daughter in just a second.
In Mark?
Yeah, it's in Mark too. Jairus' daughter is mentioned explicitly in Mark. That's the verse he's referring to about the maiden. He woke up and said, Talitha cum.
Yeah.
Right? That's in Mark. Why isn't this?
No, did you just fucking fart?
Yes, of course I did.
And I get that a fucking 9.9. Cigarette.
Okay, now you see my screen?
Cancer, here I come. Huh?
Hold on.
No, I don't. No. You still have this thing. You still got that bullshit up.
Yeah, Talitha cum, child arise. Hold on. Let me share screen. Chrome tab. All right, can you see this? Can you see this up right now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, verse number 5. But
I must have
Abimelech
left it
had not
outside.
come here and said, Lord, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation? Said he not, she is my sister, and she even herself said, he is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocence of my hands I have done this. And God said unto him, yes, I know that thou did this in the integrity of thy heart, for I also withheld from me from sinning against me. Therefore suffered I thee not to touch her. Now therefore restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live. And if thou restore her not, how know thou that thou shalt surely die thou, and thou art thine? Therefore Abimelech rose early in the morning, and called all his servants, and told all these things in their ears.
Abimelech. I'm naming all my kids after like people from the Bible.
Right? It's not a lie. He's really married to his half sister. This is just an example of when you're lying to evangelize to people, or you're just telling people things you haven't actually fucking researched yourselves. Now we're gonna move on to whatever the fuck you're telling us about Jesus, and hopefully it doesn't help your fucking Taqiyya case. Oh, hold on, I don't have it up.
Because I read that. I read the entire passage.
She's his half sister. He's not lying. He really is married to his fucking sister. Everybody with the biblical education knows this shit. The only people attributing it to the lie are the people that are fucking swearing up and down and apologizing for this Taqiyya and say Muslims only use it in certain conditions. Right? The same people that are plagiarizing fucking internet articles and making shit up about the fucking Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's see. What is this Jesus thing? All right, so he's conjectures that that the girl's really dead and Jesus
cherry picking specific verses and ignoring what comes before or after.
Yeah.
So I think this is just an example that you brought up of maybe we should take a look at the text and make sure we're looking at it contextually.
That's right.
Yeah, like you did with the fucking Abraham, you
I'm
fucking
not saying
idiot.
Jesus lied at all. Neither was should anyone else.
They cut it right off at verse 24. But what did
Huh?
25 and 26 say? What did verse 25 and fucking 26 say?
No, that's all there is. But look, I'll show you this in Mark, all right? I'll show you in Mark and in Matthew that they have absolutely no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
It's in Matthew also. I mean, just reading Matthew 9:18 to 26 would literally prove would disprove what they're fucking trying to say.
Mark chapter 5, KJV. I'm gonna bring it up.
Okay.
We're going to end this shit. This is an epic.
Mark, that must be like the superior version. Hey, wasn't there a which book was it of the gospel? Which gospel was it that was like in the first person?
What are you talking about? Gospel in the first person?
I swear there was a gospel that was like in the first person, or a book of the Bible that was the first person.
Yeah, the Song of Solomon.
Wasn't one of the gospels in the book in the first person also?
Song of Solomon's in the first person. All right, so this is Jairus' daughter. All right, whatever I don't even know what the fuck they said, to be honest with you, but it's clearly not a fucking lie. The fuck is he talking about? Some of the EA show guys misquoting. Well, yeah, they didn't do good enough research to, at best. They're saying that Abraham lied about his sister. He didn't lie, and God even acknowledges that. Yes, I know, right? That is her brother, and they are brother and sister, half brother and sister. All right, but Pharaoh's like, but I was deceived to think that she was unmarried. And that was never asked, questioned, or anything. He just took her thinking that he could take whatever he wanted. And that's why he suffered the boils. He didn't ask properly for a betrothal, right? He should have asked the brother, like, can I marry this woman? Right? All Abraham did was fear for his life and said, let's go and say that you're my sister, right? Because if you're my wife, they'll just fucking kill me to get to you. Right? He pursued evil and he got evil. And that's why the Lord punished Pharaoh for that. Well, Abimelech, but right. That's
right,
what they're saying, Pharaoh, and that's accurate because he was a person of government. But here, let's yeah, they weren't. We can say that's fucking foolish too, but we're just gonna give them credit. We'll grant them that it is the Pharaoh that's.
It's the Pharaoh. He doesn't believe in God.
It's not the Pharaoh, but like we're saying, yeah, okay. It can be the fucking Pharaoh, but it's still fucking retarded. Now we're gonna go to Jairus' daughter. All right. Oh no, that's them. Oops, hold on. I'm having technical problems here. All right, let me get up Jairus' daughter. All right, can you see that? Am I full screen? All right, I'm full screen on Jairus' daughter. All right, and behold, there cometh out a ruler of the synagogue, Jairus by name. And when he saw him, he fell on his feet and besought him greatly, saying, my little daughter lieth at the point of death. I pray thee come and lay hands on her, and she may be healed. And Jesus went unto him, and much people followed him and thronged him. And a certain woman, which an issue of blood had suffered many things of many physicians, and spent all that she had, and nothing was bettered her, but rather grew worse. And when she had heard of Jesus, came in the press behind him, touched his garment. For she said, if I may touch but his cloth, I shall be whole. And straightway the fountain of blood was dried, and she felt her in her body that she was healed of the plague. All right. Now this is where classically it cuts over to Jairus' daughter. Jesus immediately knowing himself the adverse were gone out to him, and turned about the press and said, who touched my clothes? And the disciples at him under the seat of the multitude, he said, who hath thou touched me? And he looked around about to see her that had done this. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what had done to her, came and fell down before him and told him the truth. He said unto her, daughter, thy faith hath made me whole. Go in peace. While he yet spake, there came of the synagogue, Jairus, obviously. While yet he spake, and came to the house certain which said, thy daughter is dead. Why troublest thou, master, any further? And soon as Jesus heard the word and spoke, and he saith unto the ruler of the synagogue, be not afraid, only believe. And he suffered no man to follow him, save Peter and James, John the brother of James. And he came into the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and seeth the tumult, and them that wept and wailed. And when he came in upon him, he said, why make thee and weep? The damsel is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed and scorned him. But when he had put them all out, he taketh the father and the mother of the damsel were with him, and entereth into where the damsel was lying. And he took the damsel by the hand, and said unto her, Talitha cum, which is being interpreted, damsel, I say unto thee, arise. And straightway the damsel rose and walked, and she was of the age of 12 years, and they were astonished with a great astonishment. So they're saying that she was dead and Jesus is alive, except that doesn't say that in either passage. We find that either in Matthew or in Mark. They're just telling you that. You just have to take the fucking word of these guys. They plagiarize internet articles. They don't read the Bible correctly. They tell us we're cherry picking the fucking Bible. They telling us now that she is actually dead, and they have this fucking knowledge, and Jesus is wrong about this.
And for folks that want to know the climax to the Matthew verse,
unfucking believable.
You want to throw that up there, Taylor? So folks that see the climax to the Matthew. Don't worry, it's in King James Version.
All right. Dude, none of this shit ain't even in the fucking NIV. This isn't even in the gayest Bible you can find. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Bible Gateway. That's the best. And ladies and gentlemen, if you use Bible
I
Gateway,
got all three of the fucking passages. All right. While he was saying this, the synagogue leader came and knelt before him, saying, "My daughter has just died, but come out and put your hand on her, and she will live." And Jesus got up and went to him, and so did his disciples. Just then, when a woman who had been subject to the bleeding for 12 years, came upon him and touched the edge of his cloak, she said to herself, "If only I touch his cloak, I will be healed." And Jesus turned to her and take heart, daughter. He said, "Your faith has healed you." And the woman was healed by that moment. When Jesus entered the synagogue leader's house and saw the noisy crowd and people playing, he said, "Go away. The girl is not dead, but asleep." But they laughed at her. And after the crowd had been put aside, he went and took the girl by the hand, and she got up. News spread through the region. Okay, we've read Mark 5. Now let's read Luke. Now when Jesus returned, the crowd welcomed him, and they were expecting him. And the man came, Jairus, the synagogue leader, came and fell upon the feet, pleading in him to come to his house, because his only daughter, a girl of 12, was dying. And Jesus saw his way into the crowds and crushed them. And a woman was there, and he had been subject to bleeding for 12 years, but no one could heal her. She came up behind him and touched the edge of his cloak, and immediately her bleeding stopped. "Who touched me?" Jesus asked. The woman denied, and when all that denied it, Peter said, "Master, the people are crowding and pressing against you." But Jesus said, "Someone touched me. I know that power has gone out from me." Then the woman, seeing that she could not unnoticed, came trembling and fell at his feet in the presence of all people. She told why he had touched him and how she had been instantly healed. Then he said to her, "Daughter, your faith is healed. You go in peace." When Jesus was still speaking about the house of the Jairus, the synagogue leader, "Your daughter is dead," he said. "Don't bother with teachers anymore." Hearing this, Jesus said, "Don't be afraid, just believe, and she will be healed." When he arrived at the house of Jairus, he did not let anyone go in with him except Peter, John, and James, the child's father's mother. Meanwhile, all the people were wailing and mourning. "Stop wailing," Jesus said. "She is not dead, but asleep." They laughed at him, knowing that she was dead. But he took her by the hand and said, "My child, get up." Her spirit returned, and once she stood up, Jesus told him to give her something to eat. Her parents were astonished, but he ordered them not to tell anyone what had happened. Okay, and in nowhere, all right, other than the conjecture by Hanif, do we find something where Jesus tells somebody something that isn't true. Jesus said she wasn't dead, she was sleeping. The other people laughed at it, but Jesus got her to get up.
I thought Jesus lied. Sounded like he lied.
Well, they're saying that Jesus lied because she was definitely dead. Because they can tell us that. Because they are fucking experts. They were fucking there. Who fucking knows? Colossal blunders here.
Real colossal. And that's why they left. And just the disingenuous nature of leaving off those last two verses of that passage. That, you know, that's the shit I don't fucking like. It's dishonest. It is terrible. It is just egregious. But you know, too much like right. Too much like right. Motherfuckers are gonna be mad. They're gonna be like, "Oh my god, oh my god, what? Why? Well, you're lying." Did they lie? Yes, they fucking lied blatantly, right to everybody's fucking faces. How many people watched that fucking video? I wonder if anyone actually called them out on that in the fucking comments.
Oh fuck no, because their viewers are just fucking straight zombies. Apparently, there's a takedown by Smokey saying I've had the pleasure of dealing with him a couple times, but yeah, I don't think we're gonna get that far. We're pretty much at the end.
Just their argument falls flat on their face. Falls flat on its face. It is disingenuous.
Misinformed.
It is misinformed. Yes, misinformed.
And also
they are. they are mal interpreting the Bible. And they have nerves, the nerves and the balls to be upset at being called out on their bullshit.
They're doing a video.
Like I said,
they're doing a video
are
on Taqiyya,
coming.
and they're not shy of misinforming you, false equating it to other things. Right? They're trying to say like, well, the U.S. lies and shit. When they're fucking, of course they do. Our government lies to us. This isn't a secret, guys. We're not saying that we have a holy government in Washington. Like you guys. Fucking holy. This isn't news to us. We know our government lies to us. We know they lie to people. War is deceitful. Yes, it's a fucking bastard. Yeah, they're doing Taqiyya in the stream about Taqiyya. What's so bad about that? You're right. That's the whole point of this fucking video. They're using Taqiyya and they're trying to show us how it's totally reasonable to use Taqiyya, even though they started on the basis first Muslims do not lie, then Muslims only lie to protect themselves, then Muslims only lie in times of war, and then we got a whole video where unfortunately Muslims are lying throughout the whole thing.
Real shit. Like, I mean, just
they plagiarized first they plagiarized the BuzzFeed. We'll say that Justin did, because Justin gets the credit for this one. So all of them are pointing the finger. Right. Obviously, all of them are going to point the finger at Justin. So
of course.
Did it.
Right. They're all reading from the passages and shit. They're doing the reading. They're doing the fucking.
Abraham lied about being sisters with Sarah, right? Sarah being a sister, which the Bible clarifies that is his half sister. So that wasn't a lie. That was a lie on the part of the presenters. Or the fact that they just don't know that and they haven't researched this topic thoroughly. They're making a bad argument.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's hard to do because they have read the passage. It's there, and they have just asserted now that Jesus is lying about this.
Their entire conversation is a house of cards, and when you pull from the bottom, they all fall down. This doesn't look good.
Right.
Justin, this don't look good. I'm gonna say that right now.
This is like the worst thing. Like we enjoy the fact that you have a microphone, and then but I'm sure some of our like our legit Muslim friends do not.
Oh man, they're probably
Like with the U.S., they could go, okay, we're no different than the U.S. And the U.S. does lie, but then they tried to go as far as to say the Bible's lying, and they used Taqiyya in order to do that. Because Rahab's not counted as righteous for lying to the guards. She's counted as righteous for not giving up the position of the Israelites. She could have done anything she pleased, but she feared the God of the Bible. That was why she was righteous. She feared the God of the Bible. She heard what he had done for them, for the Israelites in the desert. That's what she said to them. That's why she was counted righteous, for her fear of the Lord. The Bible's very clear about that in both Hebrews and in the book of James. These guys don't understand that because they haven't read this material. They're bringing bad arguments to the table.
Oh, so Hanif created the PowerPoint.
Does it say socialism on your shirt, Ray?
Taylor. Huh? Oh, yeah. Taylor. It was Hanif that, it says socialism distancing. Sorry, I got the top part. The bottom part covered because I kind of got some food and shit, you know. Showing. I want people to know how sloppy of an eater I am.
Justin comments, well, they shouldn't just cherry picking and get the context of it, right? And they don't have any of the context of the verses they're showing us.
Hold on, let me. I was just sent the clip.
They have 0 attempts.
Who made this clip? I mean, who made this?
Let's get straight to it. I think you said that
Right.
we just kind of like switch off, kind of like
Isaac is married to
Yeah, see,
his
yeah.
first cousin.
All right, this isn't Justin's fault. That wasn't just the PowerPoint presentation was not created by Justin.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was sent a clip, and in it, it's right in the beginning of the video, I believe. Let's see here, where they. Let's see. Let me see. It's in the video. Timestamp.
I'm wearing shoes right now. If I took my shoes off, I probably would.
Timestamp 8:40, 8 minutes 40 seconds. So it was Hanif that wrote that created this presentation. He is the one who plagiarized. He stole the pictures from that fucking article. I'm pretty sure he's taking a look at Taqiyya, License to Lie animation. Pretty sure of it. I've looked at it myself before. Let's see here. Ending the debate on Aisha's age. Okay, yeah, I ain't worrying about that child. It's unfortunate what happened to her.
That is wrong, and I don't give a flying fuck.
100%.
I'm a sinner and I deserve hell. It's my house. I can do what I want in this bitch.
Where was that, by the way?
Oh man, I didn't mean to clear that. Open that back up. Open that back up, baby.
101.39 is where they have this. Allegedly, there's callers in this.
Oh yeah, well, let's take a look at them callers and whatnot, because it's getting pretty late on. It's
We
getting
get
pretty
3 hours,
late.
and I don't think we're gonna get to the callers. And they're an hour in. I don't think there might not be callers in this.
You don't think it's callers in it? History. Because I just had it up here. Here it is.
Hold on, I'm showing these fuckers because these fuckers are in the chat right now. I'm gonna show them when they're done fucked up. Let's see what they have to say about it. Because this is
Go away. She's not dead.
this is all bad.
Oh yes, you did mention Smokey Saint, right? Taylor James, we cannot see the video you are reacting to. Yeah, Taylor. This nigga on his phone. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Taylor, I'm going to share the video. We're going to watch Smokey's takedown.
Where is it?
Hold on. I found Smokey's takedown.
All right, throw it up.
And that'll be a nice little.
Oh, he's one of the callers?
Yeah, he's one of the callers.
All right, we can end it with that. We'll throw that up. All right, we're going to end that. I'm going to get everyone. Go to the end and watch Smokey's takedown. All right, we'll get that before we hit out. We'll give you that. That'll be the last thing we do. This video is way too fucking long, and already we've got backlash on how stupid it is. Like we're talking to these fuckers in the chat, and they're trying to fucking Taqiyya us some more to defend this shit. But these motherfuckers fucking they listed Genesis 20 through 1 through 18. And in Genesis 20, chapter 12, Abraham deliberately tells you why he said that's his sister, because it's half of his sister. She was of a different father, but the same mother. Or of the same father, but of a different mother. My bad. I've been drinking. That is literally his half sister, and that's why he said that.
You want to get off of the incest?
All right. But that was attributed. This is attributed. Let's see what Smokey Saint does. Let's do this.
All right, here we go. You got it up there?
Yeah, it's up. It's up.
All right, cool. All right.
When they were trying to go and sift out the Jews, would it have been? So a very, very interesting topic. Saw you guys going through it. And in fact, I've noticed, and I don't know how much presuppositional stuff we really want to spend time on, because I know it's a show. You got other callers and stuff, so I don't want to take a whole huge amount of time. But I did think it was a very, very interesting presentation, and it's something that I think even many Christians will sometimes get befuddled in the idea of the practice of lie. And there is a passage that I did want to share, and it's particularly from Matthew 23, verse 23. And it's Jesus talking to the scribes and Pharisees who were erring in their extreme enforcement of legalism and then turning it into a justification for claim to holiness, which was nothing more than demanding people to abide by the constructs of man in order to glean closer to God. So it's a complete perversion. People were very, very rigidly oppressed under the matters of the law, to where even the better virtues or the better graces of what the law was intended to inspire were completely put by the wayside in order to fixate on hyper rigid literalistic interpretation and adherence. So in verse 23, it says, "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have neglected the weightier matters of the law, justice and mercy and faith. These you ought to have done without leaving the others undone. Blind guides who strain out a gnat and swallow a camel." So this is pointing out that they would fixate on minor legalistic minutia while neglecting the greater calls, the greater, weightier measures that the law was intended to inspire. Now, put into a more local anecdote, and with this I'll yield because I'd love to hear all your takes on this, but Christians sometimes stumble under the idea of whether or not it would have been right to lie to the Nazis when they were trying to go and sift out the Jews. Would it have been okay to lie about the fact that you were hiding people, in this particular governmental environment? And under the weightier matters of the law, yes, because again, it says justice and mercy and faith. And any rational human being operating with a sense of Christian ethics and values, I think, would have absolutely been able to see that what was being done there was not only a deprivation of justice, but also of mercy and also of faith. So I think a Christian would have been very much pulled to regard the weightier measures of the law. And with that, I'll yield. I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on that.
Smoker shows just
when it came to the Nazis banging on your door, I actually brought that up as an example earlier. You brought that example up, and also the example of a woman comes running past you, running down the street, and she's just covered in blood, and there's somebody else a few minutes later, somebody running down the street with a knife in their hand, and they're covered in blood, and they ask you which direction the girl went. I would point them in the opposite direction of where the girl actually went, because in my heart,
come, we're giving you a free opportunity. Come and have a discussion. Even if you disagree, fine. We're gonna do it respectfully.
Yeah. So, James, do you have anything to add? I'd actually like to keep you on because Smokey Saint, who was our first caller today, had sent me a short minute and a half video and wanted to get everybody on the panel's opinion on what they thought of the video. And if you'd like to, I'd like to get your opinion also.
Yeah, kick up the video. I got a few more minutes, no problem.
All right, let me see here.
Everybody mute.
اخويا وحبيبي، عايزين نتوب الى الله وعايزين ناخد بايدين الناس اللي لسه ما تابوش.
On because Smoke
نشفق عليهم، لازم نخاف عليهم، لازم نكون
Go
كالاطباء
on,
اللي
read
بيخاف
this
او
up.
الطبيب اللي خايف على مريضه. لازم تخاف عليه وتكون مشفق جدا عليه، وتحاول بقدر الامكان تشوف اي طريقه ولو جديده مبتكره ازاي ان انت تكون سبب في توبه انسان. هقول لك على قصه حلوه قوي بس بعد ما تصلي على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. كان في واحد مسلم بجواره واحد يهودي. فالمسلم كان يرى من اليهودي ده يعني شيء من الطيبه ولو كانت بسيطه، فكان نفسه باي طريقه ان هو يبتكر طريقه يخليه يسلم بيها. فراح كلمه وقال له يا فلان، يعني اليس لك حاجه في الاسلام؟ انت ما نفسكش تسلم؟ قال والله ما يمنعني من الاسلام الا اني احب شرب الخمر. انا فعلا نفسي اسلم من زمان، بس انا الحاجه الوحيده اللي منعاني ان انا مدمن خمر. فالمسلم ابتكر له طريقه، قال له خلاص اسلم واشرب الخمر براحتك. طبعا المسلم مش قصده كده طبعا، فقال له اسلم واشرب الخمر. قال له خلاص ماشي. فاليهودي قال اشهد ان لا اله الا الله وان محمدا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. فقال له المسلم الان اصبحت مسلما، فان شربت الخمر طبقنا عليك حد الخمر، وان ارتدت عن دين الله قتلناك. فثبت الرجل على دينه ولم يشرب الخمر ابدا بعد ذلك. ودي كانت حيله جميله من هذا المسلم.
It was a nice trick by this good Muslim.
Really funny, man. I really laughed at it at the end. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know how to respond. First of all, the source is Memory TV, which is I don't know who's funded by. I could just Google it, but it's famous for putting clips on from Middle Eastern television to denigrate Muslims and Islam. So it has an agenda. As for what he was saying, he's making up a story. It doesn't mean anything about the religion. He's made a story up.
it's a funny story, by the way. It's a funny story.
Funny story. Islam saying that this is a religious edict. I don't think so. I think he's made us. If we're trying to be charitable, the first part of the story tells us that he's concerned for the welfare of people, saying we need to be like doctors to and help cure people's hearts. So he made this story up, this anecdote, to try to draw a lesson. I don't think it's trying to say anything that Muslims are allowed to lie to convert people into their religion. I've got nothing to say about it because it's not a text from the Quran. It's not from the Hadith. It's not Sunnah. I don't know who the sheikh is, even if he's authoritative. So it means nothing to me.
What we really need to understand is that, look, I mean, even in the Muslims, there exist these elements. Yeah, ignorant people are like all over the place. Yeah, I mean, Muslims are full of that. But I mean, what we need to understand is that, from the Muslims, right, like who aren't qualified enough to speak about this issue, we shouldn't take the opinion from them, right? We've got so many authentic scholars, who we can ask.
Muhammad Yunus, I don't think really we should disparage the person who's speaking. He is probably a scholar. I don't even know whether he's speaking Egyptian, sounds like Egyptian dialect, which I can't understand.
Yeah, I didn't read the translation, so I'm not sure because I didn't read it, so I'm not sure if
the point he's making is something completely different. The topic of this discussion certainly isn't about converting people to Islam. It's almost like an amusing anecdote that he's giving, and Smokey's taking it completely the wrong way. He's taking it. And if
Thank
one
you,
of
Smokey.
our viewers.
Well,
knows
I just want to say I don't know what Smokey's intentions were with like if he thought that this was something that is a misrepresentation or not. I'm not sure what his motives were there, and I don't
But the
want
fact is, but the fact is that
Oh
these
my
things exist,
God.
right? These things
Yeah.
exist. I mean, it's just all over the place on the internet. That's the reason I told you that. If we are to really get an opinion about Islam, we should ask scholars that are like qualified enough. Let me tell you a story, right? If we
So
go
are we
a
disagreeing
Dutch
with the
politician,
video?
you
God.
all guys would be knowing who that is, right? Who was an anti-Islamic person, right? A clear Islamophobe, right? If you really hear his story, right? He wanted to write a book against Islam, right? And he wanted to get actual facts and
This is
write
the
like
most
a book
pathetic shit
that
I've
portrays
seen in a
Islam negative.
long
But the great
time.
thing that he did,
Th-
he wanted to get the actual facts, right? He just didn't
This
want
is
to make up
pathetic
the
as hell.
stories
Are
and
they
put that in the book.
condemning what
He
the guy said?
contacted one of the
Yes.
scholars that
Yeah?
teaches in
Yeah.
Cambridge
Hanif
University.
condemned
His
what
name
he
is
said.
What'd he say?
Abdul
He straight up
Hakim
said
Murad.
he
Yeah,
doesn't
he's one
care
of
if
the
he's an
leading
authoritative figure.
scholars of Islam.
That's not what he stands
He
for.
contacted him and asked him about the facts, right? And what happened? I guess what happened?
But
He
see,
converted to Islam,
this
and today
gives.
he's like, he's a very good da'i, right? He spends his time, conveying the message of Islam. So I mean, look at the sincerity of the guy, right? He wanted to write things that are negative about the religion of Islam, but he wanted to quote actual facts and not really make up stories and put that in a book, right? So the contact and the kind of information that he got from that scholar persuaded him and made him become a Muslim. And today, I don't know. I mean, I think he has written even a book, yeah, of like how I don't know. I'm not sure, but like I think he has written a book.
That's cute, Muhammad.
Saying that, like, how all of this happened and how some of the non-Muslims have these, misinformed notions about Islam into their minds. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say here is that, if you really want to get facts, actual stories, yeah, you just need to try and contact somebody who's qualified enough to talk, to get the facts from. And that's like, that's from where you can get the actual information.
That guy must be qualified because he's on an Islamic State television preaching this. He's preaching Taqiyya to be used in this fashion. I'm sorry, but this is I don't know who that guy was, but I understood his agenda very well through the subtitles. I was able to ascertain from those subtitles that if that Jewish person who converted to Islam was to go back to a drink, he would be disowned. And if he spoke of his disbelief of Allah, then he would be killed. Now, I'm not saying this is indicative of you guys, but if there is any grounds that the alt-right, conservative, left-right, or anyone who says that you guys might have some holes in your fucking religion that might need to be patched the fuck on up, that could give them some grounding right there. The stuff right there is freely available on the internet, just as your shoddily put together PowerPoint presentation was. Terrible PowerPoint presentation, Hanif. Terrible. And wicked to say that to ask if Jesus lied and cherry pick from the Bible. Not even a good fucking cherry pick either. It was a terrible cherry pick. It was a bad one. You cut off two of the fucking most important verses. Whether I believe in Jesus or not is of no importance. But one thing I do not like is when someone tries to use, this is what I like to call propaganda. And that's what you guys are doing. You're trying to put this propaganda down. And yes, I understand you guys want your religion to be as a religion of peace and whatnot. Yes, here in the Western world, Islam is a religion of peace. Yes, continue supporting your fucking religion. Please, please do. Try to convert as many people as you can. But don't use Taqiyya to do it. Be honest. Be upfront. Be frank with motherfuckers.
I like the Quran little less better.
Yeah, use the fucking Quran. Preach from the fucking Quran. No matter how arduous and crazy you think it the fuck is. Just Christians come at me with the Bible all the fucking time. Guess what? It's all good. It's all good. I don't look at them like the crazy, violent motherfuckers. I've read the Bible.
We're telling people that God killed a man for coitus interruptus. Just like that.
Right.
No hesitation at all. All right.
Before the nut even hit the floor.
That might come across a little harsh. We're telling people that we're preaching that bears came out of the woods and mauled a bunch of little kids. That might come off as a little bit harsh. Okay, but we're doing it because that's what our fucking book says, and we actually believe the damn book.
Shit, by golly, you guys have some fucking balls. You got no nads.
No nads at all for this shit. Right?
All right, so
especially this. How the fuck you gonna make a video about Taqiyya apologizing for it and then have Taqiyya like you're doing yourselves a disservice by making shit up?
Mm-hmm.
You got a plagiarized fucking article. You got misquoted Bible verse. You list Genesis 20 through 120. There's a verse in there that clearly fucking debunks the point you're trying to make. You give us a reference here so we can see where you're fucking bullshit, because you probably haven't even read the fucking verses yourselves. Then you call us the cherry pickers. This is embarrassing. They're trying to apologize for Taqiyya, and they're the ones performing the damn Taqiyya. I think that was pretty funny. They got. I was laughing at the fucking. I thought that shit was pretty funny.
That was fucking hilarious, man. Oh man. So let's see here. Let's listen to everybody. Let's close out on everybody responding to it and whatnot. I believe James Gibson even. James is tired, ladies and gentlemen. Please give this man a subscribe. Insightful interviews he's got going on with his channel and whatnot. Up and coming YouTuber. This guy's going to be the bomb diggity in a year or so. I give him 6 months. He's going to be the fucking shit.
I just want to say one last thing. So
no, you say nothing. You say nothing.
Just to reiterate that we do have an example to follow. We do have the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, whose example shows us that like lying to evangelize or something is not permissible.
He's just always tired.
There are narrations
oh my god, that's hilarious.
Whoever does not like desire my sunnah is not a part of me. This is a hadith, and there's another one in another way. That's a longer hadith, but it's in Bukhari and Muslim. So I'm just gonna quote the part that's relevant, where the Prophet says, "And so whoever turns away from my sunnah is not from me." And it's important to note that again, like you're gonna have these bad apples, and it is what it is. It's not like exclusive to Islam. You know, like we don't have a monopoly we don't have a monopoly on bad apples, and so it's important to be charitable.
But you're capable of lying.
James, do you have any comments on the video or anything that you'd like to add, and then we'll go ahead and wrap the show up.
Yes, I think it's kind of a joke. I don't think that the guy was trying to be serious within the video.
That's a good point, James.
I think maybe he was making a point like this. For example, sometimes we as Christians or Muslims, we tell people we might oversimplify our religion, that all you got to do is follow Jesus, or all you got to do is submit to one God, his messenger Muhammad. But we all know that deep down inside that there is a lot more commitment when you convert to any religion. There's certain lifestyle changes, there's attitude changes, there's daily scripture reading, devotional prayer. You cannot maintain and be the same person you were outside of your faith and become into faith. And I think that maybe he's trying to dig at that a bit. That hey, let people know that there really is a cost for us Christians to take up the cross, but there really is a cost in Islam as well. You can't maintain everything you used to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good point, James.
I
I
ain't
mean,
even
it's
got a
not
roast
like
for that.
Muslims hide that like we're not allowed to drink alcohol, right? So using that video to show, hey, look, these Muslims are lying about the rules of Islam and convert somebody. I mean, it's kind of sad. I think, and you can kind of tell from like the demeanor of the sheikh in the video, he was smiling and laughing like he was telling a joke. You know, he wasn't trying to say, hey, like this is what you're supposed to do. You know, because again, like it's not like Muslims hide that.
Yeah, it's a prank, bro.
Aren't allowed to drink alcohol.
Yeah, just a
So
prank.
that was a good point, James. Thank you for that, man.
Just want to
You
say,
can be a Muslim
Smokey
and
needs
keep
to be
drinking.
aware of the sources from where he takes his knowledge about Islam. The fact that he's very intelligent, came across as very polite, very genuine and sincere. But I'd ask him, why would he take that clip from that source? Look at the headline. Was it translated properly? So be careful.
You misgendered somebody. You might have misgendered.
Oh, my bad. My
Look
bad.
at-
Hold on. He's still
Young
talking and
Muhammad
shit.
might have misgendered one of the people in the chat.
Hold on, let me go back. Whatever. Oh my god! Thank you, man, or whatever you are. I appreciate. Oh my goodness! Is this blessed be he? Oh wait, yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah, blessed be he. They're referring to God. Never mind. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. And Hanif, you're talking about sources and shit, man. You talking about sources. I prefer you cite your sources when you make these PowerPoint presentations.
Read them.
Read them. Yes, read them off. Say where you got some of these memes from. You know, don't be just making shit and just throwing it out there.
Hanif's masterpiece.
This is Hanif's masterpiece. That was Hanif's masterpiece.
For real, Hanif.
Yeah,
all people.
Who was that mentioned it? It was Eunice. Eunice mentioned it in the beginning of the video. Timestamp. I mentioned the timestamp earlier. I forgot
but the type portions are Hanif, but the part that the article gets plagiarized from.
The article, the pictures came from the article, but what they were talking about is
and everything.
Huh?
He took all that shit off of the fucking.
No, he didn't take all that from the article. Just the photos. The photos came from that article.
Tweet, and there was a couple of those captions.
Oh yeah, the tweet. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I mean. A lot of that he took from that article. He didn't go from it word for word verbatim. I read the entire article. The article was about a little girl who got her hair, her hijab cut, and they were just talking about people's response to it, and they were talking about Taqiyya, how Taqiyya is being used is being weaponized by anti-Muslims and whatnot, which I think is false. Yeah, they're trying to say that Muslims are using Taqiyya out here just for everyday shit. No, they're not. No, they're
probably not. But it's
this isn't
these fucking jokers when they came on here and started talking, plagiarizing people and fucking making points that weren't necessarily honest or very well researched.
Only Hadithers use Taqiyya.
Yeah, they're probably the last people they need to get up here and defend Taqiyya because they made it worse.
And they got a video from their all great and glorious leader.
A little ink stain on a white shirt, and they came and took a rag away.
And I just think I find it so ironic. Thank you, Smokey. I find it so ironic that they were just comparing themselves to Jews, and they just kept mentioning Jews and shit. And what is the guy using his fucking video as an example? A Jew. You know, and it's just like, Yeah, you guys could use any fucking group. Compare yourself to black people. Compare yourself to Chinese people, Asian people. That's the hot topic today. You know, compare yourselves to them. Stop Islamic hate is going to be the newest fucking thing on the. It's going to be the hottest fucking pancake on the market, Taylor. It's going to be the hottest fucking hashtag soon. Stop Islamic hashtag stop Islamophobia. That's what it's going to be. Because you know these Hadithers, they get all up in their fucking feelings and shit. They get butthurt. They don't read their fucking Quran. They don't practice their word. They don't practice what they preach. They don't stay in their fucking lane. And what we're seeing here is a whole case of motherfuckers not staying in their goddamn lane. But you know, I'm dropping my mic.
My, oh my, oh my. I can't believe Justin had nothing to do with this shit.
Yeah. I can't.
Weeks of Justin. And it's not even Justin.
It's not even Justin. It wasn't even Justin. So we were wrong. You know.
I'm gonna have to change the damn fucking caption, and I got this shit. I'm gonna have to change it to Hanif.
You need to start getting your facts straight, Taylor. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I'm in the fucking Taqiyya boat with those fucking ghosts.
Oh man.
Cheers.
See, that's why that's why we said they. You know, we didn't know who did it anyway. So you know, and then did you blame Justin?
I'm pretty sure it was Justin that did some because that's intellectual laziness, and I know obviously Khalil is one of the most intellectually lazy people I've ever seen or encountered here on the internet. I put the two and two together, but apparently we got a fucking torpedo from Hanif. Of all fucking people.
No.
I was thinking Justin's doing this, and these guys have no fucking clue until we brought it to their attention. But no. Shocking all, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Justin said like a couple stupid things about taking the Bible out of context. But that's pretty much it.
Oh man. I forgot how to spell disingenuous that fast. He was mad. He was the most angry about homie's video. Oh, that's sad. I don't know Hanif very well, so I'm not gonna insult him or anything, but that's just, man. It is what it is. All right, Taylor, we're gonna end this show. We're gonna end this. You got anything more to add?
I'm getting a phone call.
Yeah, me too.
From Saunders, so let's hit that. Throw up the credits. Good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll have something on Thursday we don't know yet, but they're out there. Here we go. Debate the facts, baby.